All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on into our 16th season of doing this, guys. It's been a long time, but we keep doing it. Who knows when we'll stop? I don't know. Not sure. I've got to probably keep going, and as this is kind of like my thing to make me feel good, and so I like that. That having been said, we can go ahead and bring him on in. The one guy that always cause problems, but we don't mind having him around anyway. It is the one, the only. It is the Podfather. Good morning, Podfather. How are you doing this morning?
So we're doing this to make you feel good?
I feel good, man. I feel good. Hey, I feel good. Good morning. Yeah. You got the coffee and everything. I'm rocking and rolling. And you're on the road as usual on a Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
This should be, I'm hoping, the last time I do this from the car on a regular basis. I hope my schedule changes to where I have Sundays off here coming up on the 17th. Knock on wood. So we'll see what happens.
I'll knock on my head for you, okay?
Okay.
So now that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Lots of things going on, but since they're not here, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on as far as the WWE. And now, those that are like me, Cuervo, and everybody else who watch Red Zone, man, ESPN is grabbing up everything, aren't they? I mean, ESPN's got that, now it's got the it's going to have the WWE and now Red Zone, and they're raising prices. This is really an interesting thing that's going on regarding WWE and also ESPN trying to really, they always had kind of the corner market on everything, but now they're really trying to push it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're seeing the introductory price to what you can get with the ESPN and WWE, but just wait till they start mixing the bundles with Disney and Hulu and whoever else, and I mean, those prices will come down. I mean, right now it's a shock to those who've only had to pay $9.99 for WWE programming, or however much Peacock is now charging for it. So it's just, I mean, the thing is, I mean, this is a good gift for ESPN because think about it. On their daily programming they normally have, those shows don't last no more than a year or two.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, some of their biggest ratings are when they have wrestlers on their shows.
Mm-hmm.
When they have the Paul Heymans and the Roman Reigns and whoever else's show up as a guest on their shows to talk football or whatever else with them. Those are huge gifts. Now to actually be merged with the worldwide leader and having, I mean, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have seen the ESPN, talk about WWE at all. Or 40 years ago, for that matter. Nowadays, it seems like that's like the biggest thing ever, So I mean,
And at one point, didn't they have the WWE? But it was back in when it was WWF, though. They did have them going on, right?
no, they had the AWA.
Okay,
Yeah, they had
but
the
they had
AWA back.
wrestling. They
They
had
had
wrestling.
wrestling, but at the same time, ESPN was trying to find that kind of programming back then to serve a 24/7, cable spot. And
Right.
wrestling seemed to be kind of that thing. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to move Monday Night Raw or SmackDown over to ESPN. Now, as far as like on the regular,
That's not
but
going to happen for a while, if it even does happen in realities.
yeah, and again, it's like okay, I don't know why the NFL's there, but okay. But the thing is though, is that with Netflix still in the picture and everything. Remember Netflix paid over $5 billion. ESPN only gave them 1.6 billion.
Yep.
So, and plus the fact Netflix is the ones that showcase Raw and SmackDown globally, not just here in the United States. So, look, Nick Khan's a smart businessman. I've heard him being interviewed before, and he's the kind of guy I want to have him turn a profit. And he has done just that for WWE. So, and considering all the backlash they've had with the Vince McMahon nonsense, with all the crazy stuff going on, what is this?
Well, Anthony put this up, and I wish his picture there was. All right, it said, I didn't know ESPN can bundle with Hulu and Disney for $29.95. Now, let me just tell you what I got going on. Okay, I have Hulu, no commercials. I have Disney Plus as ESPN Plus on my bundle with Hulu. So I don't know how they're going to do what they're going to do. I hope they put it to the ESPN Plus, and then I won't even have to worry about it. It'll just be right there. And now with the NFL Red Zone, they basically bought up the NFL programming in reality. So that's where it is, and that's what it is. The Peacock contract ends at the end of this year. That's when you're going to see the move over, and I'm probably gonna, Peacock's got some great programming on it, and even without the wrestling on it, it'll probably be a good keep in reality. So that's probably what I'm going to do. But we'll see where it goes, how it's going to go, and how they're going to do it.
This does make an interesting point, though. Is Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, are they now Disney princesses?
I don't know. Only you could ask that question.
Because ESPN is owned by Disney.
I know. I don't know. I can't keep up, and I can't keep up with you in your crazy questions. But that's okay. That's why you're here, I guess, in reality. But in reality, everybody was talking about how much it's going to cost so you can watch NFL stuff. And what it's going to be. And here it is. Becky beat. By the way, the line that Becky did to. By the way, there's certain things that I like. Nikki Bella and her entrance. I'm sorry, that's just the best entrance in the world. But Becky. She bitch slapped her on Monday Night Raw and about Seth, her and Seth Rollins being the power couple, and then she switched it back to you and for John Cena and Nikki Bella. It was the classic. It was the best, and I don't know if that was ad lib. That was fantastic. That Becky's got mic skills that are unbelievable.
The thing is, the last time they tried to turn her heel, the fans wouldn't let it happen. Now they got no problem doing it. So it's like,
Well, they obviously brought Nikki in to be the baby face.
Oh yeah, clearly she got enough bad things going on in her life.
Yeah, she's. I guess I don't know the full background on her and her husband, but it's bad.
The Nikki Bella stalking John Cena for the last year of his career, so that has been going on for 6 months now. So
yep.
I get it. Look, she can't let go. So
yeah, she can't see him.
Okay, now, did you finally see the SummerSlam?
Yes, I did.
So, what did you think about the return of Brock Lesnar?
I thought it was great. I
I
thought
did
it was
too.
great, and the politics behind it, take that completely out of the equation. Who cares in reality?
Right?
Um, it's only good in reality, and that's the setup is to have John Cena go out with Lesnar. After Lesnar beat him, with the belly suplex, 5,000 times or whatever
Yeah.
yeah, and for him to come back, John Cena, to finish it with Brock Lesnar. I still want to know who wins because both of them are checking out, so it should be really interesting.
Or I don't think Lesnar's really checking out so much as far. I mean, he's got creative control on his contract, so he can do whatever he wants to do.
Well,
Now,
he's probably got a new contract now because
yeah, yeah. So, but I do know that his daughter wants to go to the WWE starting next year,
I
so
heard about that.
She'll be training over in NXT for a little bit. But I
I
mean,
forgot
look,
about that. I didn't think so. His daughter does want to come to the WWE.
yeah, that's what I read that yesterday.
I didn't hear, but I haven't really had time to keep up with a lot of things. So
Yeah, I mean, but you mean look this way. This was who John wanted to finish out with. Okay.
yeah,
He might actually finish off with Gunther, like at the very last match. I mean, because he's not gonna do 11 shows full of Brock Lesnar nonsense. I mean, he's still got Logan Paul to go through, which that's a huge get for Logan because he's got enough backlash being the outsider coming in, and he is so he is so well skilled in that ring.
he is. His mic
It's
skills are fantastic too.
his mic skills, his in-ring skills. It's almost, I mean, it's almost like he's a savant in almost anything he does. He might fail at a few
And
things,
I
but
hate that, by the way. But you're right.
yeah, I mean, it's true though because he's I mean, you and I have seen guys who are trained to become wrestlers, but none of them look or even or do anything like Logan Paul.
Right.
I mean, he was pushed to the front of the class once he signed the dotted line,
Yeah,
and
he
once he
looks
got there,
seasoned.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, even Jim Cornette, who's an old school pioneer of the craft, he'll sit there and go, "I want to hate him. I really, really, really want to hate him, but I can't because he's so damn good."
Well, he can hate him on the heel side of it, which listen. There's there's something to be said about heels and stuff. And John Cena, before he did the little turn back to the positivity thing at SummerSlam, I didn't think that he could pull it off. He pulled it off. I'm sorry, he did. As much as and so being a heel gives you the opportunity, like when we were talking a couple of years ago about Dominic Mysterio, his wrestling skills sucked. Okay. But I'm telling you right now, his heel stuff was perfect. That's what kept it in, which gave him time to get more seasoned, get better wrestling. Dominic Mysterio is a good wrestler now. 2 years
Dude,
ago, the guy sucked, and we talked about it a lot.
dude, his match with AJ Styles was so good.
Oh,
It
it
was
was crazy
it was
good.
such a beautiful, a wonderful tribute to Eddie, and I mean, I damn near teared up during the entire thing because AJ was a perfect person to play along with on that. AJ
Absolutely.
knows what this business is, and let's face it, he's going to put Dom over big time.
Yep.
So,
And not only that, remembering the history, that whole thing with the chairs. If you watched
yeah,
any of Eddie Guerrero, you've seen that all the time. It was wonderful. It was that heel Eddie Guerrero that everybody loved. The what was it? Lie, steal, and cheat, or something that they
yeah,
did. It was perfect. And Chavo, I think, and I'm just gonna say this, Chavo let that go to the side. He should have just let that live with him, and he went a different direction with it. He should have kept it because I love me some Chavo Guerrero too. I wish I
but
could see more of him.
but here's the thing, Chavo was so close to Eddie, right?
Yes,
So if he'd have done anything remotely like Eddie after Eddie's passing, he'd have been a carbon copy, and that wouldn't have worked. So to wait almost a generation later and have somebody else breathe life into that Eddie Guerrero persona, and it being someone who may or may not have actual ties to Eddie. I mean,
Yeah.
so because he's been on TV for, as he says, he's a 20-year vet
Yes.
because he's been on TV for 20 years.
Exactly. And,
As,
and by the way, the play up on that is fantastic because no one buys it in the real world, but he does, and it just digs a little bit more into the heel that Dominic can be, continuing the run with the heel as well. Because sooner or later they're going to turn Dom. You and I both know that.
oh yeah. But the thing is, he'll be the biggest baby face in the world.
Yep.
So maybe because he's been so bad now that it's only gonna happen.
Starting off heel, it will only help your career. Look, I mean, you can go and look at that. And when we're talking Logan Paul starting well, he came out initially babyface, but man, he did the quick turn and went heel real quick.
Let me ask you a question. Have you checked out the Unreal show yet?
I loved it.
I did too.
I absolutely loved it. And I was actually going to ask you about that. What was your take up on it? Now, granted, I haven't been in the business long enough. I do know Undertaker is not a big fan. I do know there are a lot of seasoned vets that did not, they liked it, but they hated the fact that they did it, is probably more of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, those who are so protective of the business, they also realize the fact that everybody has a podcast. Everybody talks about wins and losses and what they really mean, what they don't mean, and and what's the idea of getting the wins and the losses. So, it's nothing that we don't already think we know.
Right.
But how much do we actually see the well-oiled machine of the WWE actually work? Because for those who sit there and go, well, I can get my daddy's money and open me up a wrestling company, and I can make it work like Tony Khan did.
Right.
And the thing is, what you see WWE do is nothing what AEW does. I'm sorry, I don't care how much back in the day we had to kiss AEW's ass on our broadcast. God knows we had to. So
right.
I thought it was really good. And the thing is, those who want to see the business go forward, and see it thrive, this is how it's going to thrive because we all know. This isn't like back in the day when ABC John Stoss was backstage saying, hey, I think wrestling's fake, and gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, by the way, which I actually recently came across that video in YouTube less than a month ago. And not only that, it wasn't just him. It was Bowser, or I call him Bowser, John Belzer. But he looks like Bowser, but from Sha Na Na. But he got it. There are a lot of people that got their, crap kicked out of them because of what they said about it being fake and everything. It's great, by the way.
Yeah, the thing is, well, see, that's the thing. I never say it's ever fake because if you can get injured for real, that makes it not fake. And and we've seen guys constantly, walk away from a match not 100%, and that
absolutely.
To me, that's not fake. Fixed, predetermined, all that stuff. Yeah, fine, that's great. But it's entertainment. That's the bottom line. You get more entertainment for your buck in professional wrestling than you do in boxing, than you do in the UFC, and the fact that and the reason why everybody wants the blood sport with the whole UFC thing, what did you say? I can't even.
Well, Anthony says about Unreal, it was too much of the back. The back is what he thought, which obviously the reason why that intrigued me in reality is because of the reason why I actually got into the little bit of the wrestling business with you and Sword Championship Wrestling. I kind of wanted to see what the background of it was. Now we've seen it on the small level with Sword, and I actually seen it with Tony Khan's. I was backstage when they were at the CCC, the Curtis Caldwell Center, backstage with I got the chance to meet Mark Henry and the Big Show there because I was interested, obviously, commentating. And I was getting some information with them. I saw the background of that. It's totally different than what you see with the WWE. It's so far above what AEW does, but I think the fact that the old school guys that are over there necessarily want or want to see all that put together as much of it as WWE has it. It's more, in other words, it's more simple on the AEW side, which is what the big story was with them in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and this is where going back to ESPN deal. Think of all the meetings they have at ESPN. Think of all the all the backstage stuff we don't get to see at ESPN. It's probably got to be a lot like what WWE does as far as planning stuff out for down the road. I mean, it isn't like I put a show together and that's it. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, and you think about it, they're planning for months in advance. Almost a year in advance. I mean, the whole.
And if you listen to Paul Heyman, if you believe Paul Heyman's 2 to 3 years setup, which is why the difference between AEW and WWE is because AEW can't see more than 6 months down the road, and sometimes not even that.
Right.
But the big question that you can't read it, but Anthony asked you, he says, do you think AEW is watching Unreal and thinking that's how we should be? It should be better. Do you think they will take hints from that and maybe step up their game in the backstage?
No, because they can't do what the professionals do. And the thing is, some of those worked there under a different regime, but it was a lot like that. Let's start from next year's WrestleMania and work our way backwards. And the thing is, things change, things shift all the time. Injuries, contracts, whatever, they all change during the process. So, a lot of those guys, like the Chris Jerichos and the NJFs and the whoever else is over there at AEW, they're all look, they're comfortable right now.
Absolutely,
they're very comfortable. Now, is that a good thing? No, it's not a good thing, because in that world, you have to be as good as you were. Or you have to be as good a year from now than you are the day before that, the day before that, the day before. You have to work your way. I mean, you saw the Unreal thing when they immediately told Jey Uso we're gonna strap the rocket to you and see what you do. He started making mistakes, and it took a while for him to kind of get it back into his head. As long as do my thing and do what's and get back to what made me get to where the Rockets on my ass right now, and that's what they have to do.
Absolutely. Yep.
To whereas Tony Khan wants to be everybody's best friend. Tony Khan wants to be everybody's little buddy. And
he's a mark. Tony Khan is a mark. I have never seen. Oh man, and those that explain what a mark is for somebody who doesn't understand what it is.
If you're a mark for the business, that means your eyes are wide open. You can't believe what you just saw. It's the most amazing thing ever. But there's nothing to that. There's really nothing to that. I mean, I'm a mark for the business. I love wrestling, but I'm not too much of a mark to not think that, okay, well, this doesn't make sense and that doesn't make sense,
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with being a mark. But when you're running a multi-million-dollar business, which, by the way, is AEW a multi-billion-dollar business or a multi-million-dollar business?
Well, I don't think it's a billion-dollar business.
Well, I got news for you. WWE is a multi-billion-dollar business.
They are, yes.
ESPN, NBC or Peacock, whatever. I mean, all that merged together. Their money is making their own money. AEW is not even near that ballpark. And a lot of that has to do with Nick Khan. Nick Khan is a freaking genius. And I watched the interview with him and Stephanie McMahon recently, and I swear, you get like a real business education in hearing that guy talk.
Yeah.
I mean, his level of thinking is, when it comes to the business world, is far and above what anybody else could be. And think about how compared to how they were back under Vince's regime, the fact that, these guys get to go home and spend time with their family and do things and still put out a very good product in the process, where the old school guys will sit there and go, well, they're just making TikTok videos in the back of it. And I don't think I like that or not. But it's just getting your face out there. It's making money for you and for them. I mean, Undertaker and all those guys who, and Bubba Ray Dudley, who got this big issue with, the business not being what it used to be. Well, the NFL's not what it used to be.
Exactly.
And I mean,
it's hard to resist the change, but you almost have to in order for you to continue in it, because regardless of what you think it should be, it's going in a different direction right now.
Well, Thurman Thomas showed up to the Buffalo Bills training camp, right? In their first day of pads, and he asked the guy, how many days in practicing? Oh, that's our 11th day. It's our first day in pads. It's like, really? We've already had 10 days in pads because we had 5 straight 2 days. It's a different world. It's a different world, and today's athlete could not even do anything near what a guy from the 70s, 80s, or 90s could pull off back in the day.
Yeah.
Because those guys were just built differently. And
And by the way, Anthony's point down there at the bottom, it says the problem, at least in his eyes, AEW has too many wrestlers. I think they have too many wrestlers. It definitely is correct, but also they got too many wrestlers that they are not using in any storylines. And the storylines that they got, I guess Monet's got all of the titles, evidently, if I'm hearing correctly. So, that being the old Sasha Banks setup, and I just don't, I don't think they utilize them enough.
I never got her at all. Even when she was Sasha Banks in WWE, I was never a big fan. I know she was huge in NXT. I know that she had a huge following coming up, but once the bright lights got put on her, I had no interest. I mean, she did nothing for me personally to sit there and be invested in her. And the fact that they got invested in her, hey, she has a good look, but it all goes to shit when she starts getting in the ring now. And
right.
I don't think she's that great. I'm sorry.
But here's the thing that goes back to the type of wrestling that you are used to, and what you like is going a little bit sideways compared to what you want, and where the business is actually going.
She came up at the same time Charlotte and Becky and Bayley and all those people. Those others made it. Those others make it intriguing. Sasha didn't.
Even what's her nose, who won the Money in the Bank and is now the women's champion. Naomi. Naomi's even back and doing more.
Yeah, and the thing is that those girls have found a way to be relevant on TV. Sasha hasn't. She thinks her Jersey look and Jersey attitude is enough to make it work for her, and it just doesn't do it for me personally. But I'm not the one paying her either, so I'm not the one to find that being stuck with her for a while either. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. There he's back. You're back, Podfather. You went out for a second.
I'm in Gainesville.
Yeah. You don't have to say anymore. But that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. I want to talk about one more subject regarding the WWE compared to everything with all the changes with ESPN and everything taking over. The story about Pat McAfee is now a bigger story, especially with ESPN taking over and what's going on. Now, I know a lot of this has to do with contracts and the way that they're written. I completely get it and understand it. That having been said, the Pat McAfee situation with him going in and out. By the way, I'm glad he's gone, because I think Corey Graves is much better than he is. As far as knowing wrestling and knowing the business, just Corey Graves is better. However, I get the fact that the flavor of the month is a Pat McAfee, is a Logan Paul, the old school way of thinking. I love what Corey Graves, and I'm glad he's back on TV and back with what's his nose on what is it? Yeah, Cole, which by the way is the GOAT, regardless of what anybody says. What's your take up on that? How are you feeling about the fact that ESPN now, with this situation and Pat McAfee? Man, I had a little conspiracy theory that Pat McAfee started this to get it going with the ESPN side of it, but now he's nowhere to be seen. And he's not going to be, or will he, once the official change comes up?
Well, Pat McAfee's had his own deal with ESPN. I mean, he's there because they put him on the college football thing,
Yep.
and they saw that people tuned to YouTube to watch his show, and he's got that unfiltered show they put on ESPN because it is cable TV, so you can say what you want.
Yep.
But the thing is though is that he's not afraid. He's not afraid to be the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the ESPN.
Right.
And why not? He was done by the best, right? So I mean, he's not afraid to do that. To see the company that he worked for, which by the way, I think he was a stepping stone for WWE to get into ESPN.
I agree.
So
I think it was too.
So the thing is that they both used each other, in ways that made it work. WWE used him for the ESPN rub. He used WWE for the global rub that he was getting. So
Yep.
it all works out well. Now, Pat wants to stay home with his kid. He's got a new kid and everything else, and he wants to spend. I mean, he was constantly on the road doing stuff with WWE at the time and doing the college football thing and everything else. I mean, his priorities were so out of whack by going in different directions. It's almost like pick one. Pick one. WWE, I mean, for what they are, they're every week. College football, they're seasonal. So
I think he's seen the opportunity in the other spots to get more money in order to help finance his situation as soon as his contract runs out with the WWE. I think I don't know. What's your take?
Well, I mean, it's that whole. By the way, I don't know if you saw this or not. Are you hearing that Howard Stern has been canceled by Sirius?
I heard that. I don't know if that actually is. I don't know what the process is like that. Sort of like Corbin, he's done it when his contract extends. I don't know if it's the same for Howard.
Here's the thing. The word canceled is being used way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's under contract with Sirius. He will write out his contract until it expires, because that's what he does with every other contract. Every time his contract year comes up, this is always comes up. Will they cancel him? They're paying him $95 million a year to do three shows a week now.
Is that what he's doing now? Only three shows a week?
Yeah, 3 shows a week, and he takes summers off. So, he's getting paid very well by Sirius to bring on his program and everything else. Plus, his interviews are actually pretty good. But now, people who are saying he's canceled are the Trump guys, the ones that are sitting there saying, "Oh, because he had Harris on, he had Biden on, he had all these other people, he had Hillary Clinton on years ago." He's definitely so woke now, and he's so look. If Sirius does not negotiate or does not give him a new contract, they're not canceling him, because he can take his ball and go to YouTube. He can, just like Pat McAfee, he can take his ball and go other places and get paid more money.
That's why he's not worried about it.
Yeah, he ain't worried. I mean, if Sirius wants to go another route, that's on them. They're not canceling him. And by the way, this cancel culture thing is different with Howard, because Howard hasn't done anything to be canceled culture in a while.
Well, and if anything, he should have been canceled years and years and years ago, based upon what he is all about and who he is.
Well, but the thing is, though, is that everything he did was was pretty much of the letter of the law compared to free speech and what you can say on free radio. Now, Sirius is a paid subscription. Right. How do you cancel someone off a paid subscription?
Well, because of who the backers and owners are. You say whatever you want. Their reach of certain people, kind of is what it is.
But I love the people that are bashing him. They're getting him back for what he did back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. When they haven't even seen it. I mean, this is the guy who was one of the judges on America's Got Talent, not too long ago. Yeah. I mean, he has new representation now that says, hey, look, if you want to be more of a better personality than what you get more people come on your show and come talk to you, you have to do this. And he did all that. And now he's interviewing people. He's interviewing people that he had bashed years ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. You never would have thought Rose would ever go on his show. Ever. Now she goes on every once in a while. I mean,
now that means, hold on. Now, I hate to interrupt you, Podfather, because I don't know how long I got this guy coming up. So
you don't know how you don't mind interrupting me. You know your own show.
I well, no, I like where you're going, but that being said, didn't I send you some pictures? Wait, didn't I say I wanted to do something different? But you want to know what, Obi? At the same time, I am the hardest working man in sports radio. I haven't had time to get to it. I do apologize. I did get yourself. So good morning. How you doing, my friend? Looking good.
I'm doing fine. Can you
Good.
guys hear me good?
Hear you good. And I hear you're
Okay.
keeping the voice a little low too.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone must still be sleeping. So I
Well,
appreciate
she's
the fact.
sleeping because, I don't know if you got my text, but freaking contractors, I can't stand them. Man, they were supposed to be
See-
here yesterday texturing the walls and they canceled on us and they're going to come today. So she's
Oh my
sleeping
goodness.
before they get here. So
But
Gotcha.
yeah,
that
you,
Well,
you, you don't have me very long. So
that's what. So since we do not have you very long, what I'm going to do, I want you to jump into it. We are talking today, believe it or not. We've been on our normal wait until someone gets on wrestling thing, which I love talking about. That having been said, it's the AFC and NFC North. Uh, that being said, I want you to start in the NFC North before we get to your division of football, because I want to hear what your thoughts are on the four teams that are in that division of football, which by the way is going to be very very interesting this year. Probably going to be one of the most interesting divisions of football that is going to happen this year. So what's your take up on what you think we're going to see on that side of it? So start NFC North. Give us your thing, and I'm going to get some more coffee, but I'm listening to you as well. So I'm going to bow out of here. So go ahead there, Obie.
all right. So this division is going to be the most competitive division, not the
Yes.
best division, but the most competitive division. And I have my picks as, are you sitting down, Podfather? Listen to this. The Green Bay Packers finished first. Lions finished second. The Bears finished third, and the Vikings finished fourth. Now, I'm going to just say that's what I'm picking, but any of those teams, three of those four teams could potentially win the division, and that would be the Packers, Lions, or Vikings. The Bears are much closer than they were last year. I just don't think that they're going to have a new guy coming in, the head coach. He's already put his stamp on the type of offense that he wants and the type of discipline he wants to have the team and everything. I think they're another year away in competing to win the division, but they're much better than they were last year.
so
The Packers are the most stable of these four teams in regards to head coaching, assistant coaching, players, things like that. They're the most stable. Detroit, they lost their offensive both their coordinators. That's going to be a big change. They have a lot of their same personnel and players, but when you lose that direction of the offense and the defensive coordinators, that's going to take a toll on your team. Minnesota, Minnesota's kind of like that wild card right now in this whole division of, okay, how good are they? How well can they do? And like I said, this is going to be the most competitive division. I think winning this division is going to probably take. I'm going to say that 9 to 10 wins will win this division.
That only
That's
that
how close
little,
it's. And I
only
think
that
that the
little,
worst in this
Obi.
division, their record will probably be maybe 7-9, something like that. 6 and 7-9. Wait a minute. I keep getting this 17 games, right? All right. So there'll be I
17
think it's gonna
games.
be, yeah, I'll go 7-10, 8-9 will be the last place
Wow.
finishing team. I think this
Well,
division is that
that's
close.
rough. That's a lot of beating up during the year.
Yeah.
Now, but
yeah.
the one thing you said though was you see the Packers, the Packers, the
Lions.
Lions and the Vikings making a run for the playoffs, but you have the Vikings finishing in last in the division.
I didn't say the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. I'm saying that they're kind of like this wild card team, not the
Right.
wild card division or the wild
Oh,
card playoffs. They're the wild
I
card in this division.
okay.
You know, it's too. It can't really predict exactly how are they going to do. I think this is just they could upset this whole thing. You never know. They could go on a run like they did last year, but I don't think they will, but they could.
The Vikings are like the box of chocolates.
What are you
In
guys' thoughts
reality,
on what
you
I
never
just
know
said?
what you're going to get. So hugely to figure out what's going to happen with them. This is all
Sonny, you're
about
muted.
coach to quarterback. Oh, I'm muted.
I
I
can
am.
hear you. I can hear you fine.
What?
I can hear him fine.
He said he
I
could hear
can't
me.
hear him at all.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's weird.
tell him what I said. Like the Vikings are the box
I
of
can't do that.
chocolates. Yeah, you can do it.
He said the Lions are like a box of chocolates.
No, the
Never
Okay.
know what you're
Vikings.
gonna get.
Never
The
know what you're gonna
Vikings.
get.
The Vikings are like a box of chocolates. You
Oh,
never
okay,
know
yeah.
Yeah,
what you're
the
gonna
No,
get.
Vikings. Yeah.
that's exactly what I was trying to say. You never know
Yeah,
what's going
I
to
know.
happen with those Vikings.
Yeah. So I don't know why you can't hear me and everybody else
Oh,
can hear me.
wait a minute.
Because
Wait
you're
a
so
minute.
Are you
loud.
there?
Here's what's weird. I had like this little arrow, like the play button.
Uh-huh.
I could, and it was on. I could hear myself, and I could hear Podfather, but I couldn't hear you. So I pressed the
Oh.
play, and now all of a sudden I can hear you. That's weird.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So the Vikings are like, Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But really, I want you to talk just really briefly because of the fact they are, in your eyes, the wild card. Coach to quarterback is going to be the big story as far as the Vikings. I don't think anybody's worried about the defensive side of the ball for the Vikings going into this season. So, what's your take up on the coach to quarterback in reality?
What does Bryce say every year? Bryce
Every year.
always talks about this. It's the coach and the quarterback.
Yep.
How in tune are they both on the same page? Are they both reading the same book?
Yep.
And that is, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really followed them that much,
Mm-hmm.
but I just that is the biggest question because I mean, look at the other teams. I mean, the only other team that you think would be that you have that question mark about is the quarterback and the coach on the same page would be Chicago, and that's because they
Absolutely.
have a new head coach coming in. But
Yep.
I mean, Green Bay, Jordan Love, and their coach was LaFleur. They're on the same
Mm-hmm.
page. You know that Campbell and Jared Goff are on the same page.
Well, Campbell and Goff are on the same page, but really, was that the communication during the season, or was that Ben Johnson and
Yeah,
Jared Goff more so
yeah,
than anything? So that's what's going to be the proof is going to be in the pudding, as they say.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Anyway, that's
all right.
that's how I have my NFC North.
All right. So that having been said, of course, that's the name of the show. Switch to the AFC North before we lose you. Talk a little bit about your division because your Cleveland Browns, I think, are the definition of the wild card of the Vikings as it is in the AFC North. I kind of get the same kind of feeling because I don't think that the Browns are a good football team, but I think if you sleep on them, you don't take them seriously, that could be your ass.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I think that obviously, I mean, we're going to start from the bottom top to the top. This division,
Okay.
Browns are in last, and I'm going to tell you, you can write it down. Actually, I said this to my nephew last night when we went to the Diamondbacks game. We were talking some football between the
Uh-huh.
innings and stuff like that, and I told him, I said, listen, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now. Mark it right now. With the performance, now I'm not saying that this is right, but with the performance and the setup that had the whole training camp with Shadur Sanders being practicing with the third string, and then all of a sudden he goes out there and he gets to start preseason game 1 with the starting unit. And with Shadur's performance, he made that team. He made the team that night. He will not be cut.
Yes.
He won't be let go. He will be, and here's the 3 quarterbacks that I feel like that they should go in to the season with. This is my opinion. Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. So who does that leave out? That leaves out Joe Flacco. That leaves out Tyler Huntley. And of course, the other guy who I think should just rot on the bench and be gone, and that's DW. I'm not even going to say his name anymore.
Yeah.
We know who I'm talking about. He played his last play last year with the Cleveland Browns. He's done. So that's the 3 quarterbacks I think they should go in to camp with this. Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. And I'm going to say this. By week
State your name.
5. By week 5, Kenny Pickett will still be the starter, but Shadur Sanders will be second string. He will pass Dylan Gabriel. It might even happen week 1. I don't know. I was impressed with his composure and his just the ability to feel the game. That's what I'm thinking. And the Bengals are going to be much better than they were last year. They're going to figure out a way to win these close games. You cannot count out Joe Burrow. And of course, I forgot. So the Steelmen, Baltimore, Cincy, and Pittsburgh. I think Baltimore is going to win it. They might have 3 losses. But Cincy and Pittsburgh, I think they're going to be close together. Pittsburgh just has a big question at quarterback. But Cincy, I think Cincy might even make the playoffs this year. And of course, the dirty Ratbirds. I can't stand them. I'm not going to talk that much about them.
I can't. I'm really interested in what you're saying about Joe Flacco, which is the guy you're seeing on your screen right now. The fact that you don't think that this guy's going to end up being the starter. What is your reason? I mean, I know Shadur had a good, but God, don't fall. I say this all the time. Don't fall in love with any player, in preseason to be completely successful through the season or even being the guy. It's all going to be based in reality on who's going to, let, Joe Flacco, start. I mean, Pickett, let's be honest. Okay. I'm going to tell you, Pickett sucks. Okay. Just straight up, Pickett sucks. He's not even in. And the other guy that they drafted, I haven't been impressed with him at all. The guy that's going to start is Joe Flacco week number 1. That having been said, if something happens to Joe Flacco to where he can't via injury or whatever the case may be, or if his play even in preseason isn't good enough, I say don't be surprised if you see Shadur Sanders start week number 1. So I, kind of looking at that way. And I say this because why not? Why not start Shadur Sanders? The simple fact of the matter is, and you'll be the first to admit it, you guys suck. So what's the damn difference? I mean, you got an opportunity, something that's projecting up more so than projecting down with Joe Flacco. Are they really meeting? Is Joe Flacco that better? Yes, he is because of experience and winning and everything else. That having been said, how good is it going to be? Joe Flacco wants to play, right? So, give me a minute and 14. This is what Joe Flacco says. Watch this.
I still feel like I do have a lot to bring. And I'm still doing this because I want to do that. I want to bring a lot to a football team. I want to win football games. I want to prove it, that I can still do it. And it's very important to me. And like I said, I don't want to be a backup. I haven't wanted to do that for the last 4 or 5 years or however long it's been. I want to play football.
Will you ever put this is how many more years I have? Or does it really hinge on how much more you get to actually do it?
It is a tough question to ask because it's what I've done since I've been 13 years old. So it is just what I do. It's not like I actively think about, like, oh yeah, I got 2 more years. I don't know how many years left I have. I have no idea. Who knows when you're going to get hurt, and who knows who's going to sign you, and who knows, if you're going to go win 13 games. Like, if I'm going to win 13 games, and yeah, I'm going to play, and I'm going to have the opportunity to play. I would think.
So that being said, and we'll do this without, because I want to bring in Cuervo. I do your intro, but that being said, what we're talking about, we're talking AFC because we don't have Obie for very much longer. So I just want you to hop in there, Cuervo. Back to Obie. What's your take up on what you just heard from Joe Flacco? That's getting ready to play this year, and in his mind, I think he's assuming he should be the starter. And I'll ask you, do you think he should be the starter? In reality there, Obie.
Do I think he should be the starter? Based on experience, yes. But we're talking about the Cleveland Browns organization.
Absolutely. You're talking
Cleveland
about the
Browns
laughing stock.
We're talking about Jimmy Haslam. This guy has no effing clue. And what he's going to do is he said, hey, I went out and got Kenny Pickett, and then I drafted these 2 quarterbacks in the draft last year. These are my 3 guys. This is what he's going to do. Joe Flacco, yes, I'm happy for Joe Flacco. I know he wants to play, and I know he wants to win. But I just don't see it in Cleveland, in this dude, and being able to make the team. Not because maybe not his play like you were saying, Sonny. His play is it's like here, and it's probably going to start to go down just because of age and mobility and things like that, arm strength. Just over time, it starts to dwindle.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be. I like Joe Flacco. I didn't like him when he played with Baltimore, but I like him. He's a nice guy. I wanted him to see him win. But it's not going to be with Cleveland because it's Cleveland. It's the mistake by the lake. It's Cleveland. It's Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam he will do anything to make him look good. Yep. And if he feels like that, hey, you know what? I got 6 quarterbacks in the quarterback room right now. Here's my 3 guys. And it's going to be Kenny Pickett. It's going to be Dylan Gabriel, and it's going to be Shedeur Sanders. That's just how I feel. And that might not be right, but that's how I feel. What?
You think Flacco's going to get cut then, is what you
think? I think Flacco he'll be one of the last to be cut. Just watch.
Gotcha. That should be interesting. Now, that being said, so who you got last in your division of football? Is it your Cleveland Browns or is it somebody else?
No, it's the Browns. So going from the bottom to top, it's Browns, Steelers, Bengals, Ravens.
Interesting lineup going there. And that being said, that's the name of this show. How much longer do we have you, Obie? You got to bail.
I'm going to have to bail, but I'll try to listen to you guys online. Okay.
All right. Yeah. And put up some comments on something that
nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see you, Cuervo. Father, it's always great talking to you.
You gotcha. Cuervo, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Everything's going good. Of course, I'm
looking good. You feeling good? Hi.
Yeah, kind of. I was undergoing some pool maintenance. That's not good. That didn't feel good.
You were undergoing what?
Trying to get a new filter installed into my swimming pool we got in our backyard.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I still got to finish it up when we're done. So.
Gotcha. So how long do we have you, just so that we know?
Well, I mean, I'm here until probably the top of the last hour.
Okay, so we got you for 2 more hours then.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, being the Bears fan that you are, And so let's roll over and let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing. This is the NFC lineup here. You got these 4 teams in there. Now, before we start talking, I want you to go through this, but when you get to the Bears where you think they're going to end up, start with that, but don't go into it because I got something for you to watch. I think it's very interesting as far as what you're going to see here this season. But before that, we do that, keeping it NFC North, keeping it the Chicago Bears. We got the biggest Chicago Bear fan out there, right? The guy that does the singing, the guy that does. I got a minute 23. Since I didn't do the introduction, I'm going to do a 2 for here.
Hello, my friends. Tell me, how have you been? It's time to bust this stash out once again. This off-season's been long, but I'm back with a song. Let's hope the team starts off real strong, but how good we'll be, we'll see. No matter what, I'll be making these songs. I'm back, Swirsky, year tree, singing I love Bears football. Just make it worth our time, win some games now, baby. I love Bears football. Swirsky's got the rhyme, so sing with me. Bear down! Get wild, Bears fans, it's almost time for a game. The outside noise is back each year. It's
Level of concern 1-2, hair on fire of the Chicago Bears quarterback.
Wrong, but last season's now long gone. This year is a brand new dawn, so who's with me? Yeah, me. It's gonna be all happy songs from old Swirsky. You'll see, singing I love Bears football. Just make it worth our time, make the playoffs maybe. I love Bears football. Swirsky brings the vibe, so dance with me. Bear down.
So I got Swirsky and Cuervo dancing to the song. Since we didn't do the interview, I thought or the intro for you, I thought we'd get that all going. So, that having been said, here we are, NFC North.
Looks out just as good.
Yes, let's start with your take. Who's going to finish in the basement of this division of football? You obviously got the Lions. You have the Green Bay Packers. You have the Bears and the Vikings. What's your take on what you're saying? Who you got in 4th position in this division of football, Cuervo?
So you want me to just say it no matter who it is?
Yeah, the 4th. Yeah. So who do you have in 4th position?
You'll forget about it in a second. Don't worry about it.
Well, this may surprise you guys, but I got my Bears finishing last.
Wow!
I got them finishing
you
last.
Got the Bears finishing
what
last.
What kind of fan are you, sir? Oh my God!
He's a realist. He's a realist. So Bears in last place. I mean, so how are you feeling about what you're hearing? Obviously out of training camp. Obviously it's not your eyes on it unless you've seen some video. What's your take up on what you're hearing about Caleb Williams and the head coach there and their relationship right now?
Oh, well, I mean, it's what you would expect from any first time quarterback and head coach combination. There's growing pains. I mean, Ben Johnson is going into his first year as a head coach, so he's a rookie head coach, right? And then you got Caleb, who's going into his sophomore year in the league. So they're both very young when it comes to what their jobs in the NFL are. And for me, I just think that there's a lot of growing pains from what I see, from what I hear. And that's to be expected because they've never worked together. They're still getting to know each other. They're getting to know how they operate, and they're learning how to make it work. And with that being said, the steps that they're taking, I like what I hear as far as what they're doing to get to that point where they can have a good relationship together and win some football games. But like I said, I mean, Ben Johnson's been very hard on Caleb. This is what he asked for. He said they wanted accountability in Chicago. They wanted somebody to coach him hard in Chicago. Matt Eberflus wasn't getting that done. So now they got Ben Johnson, who's more intense. And I'm sure you guys, even in the Texas, Oklahoma area, heard about the practice that happened this past week. It's been labeled the most physical practice they've had since Lovie Smith coached the team. I think that's pretty sad to hear, in my opinion. I'm glad it happened, but I'm just thinking about that's the most physical practice you've had in 20 years. It's kind of sad, and it kind of explains why the standard has been what it is in Chicago when it comes to, the winning, winning games.
You mean like Enzo Amare saying SOFT, SAWFT soft kind of thing? It seems like the Bears have been soft since, the change of the helm when Levy left. I'm fully 100% agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. I mean, if that's what you have as far as it's been the most fit and it's kind of like the way I see it too is, well, we're finally catching up with the rest of the league. That's what it sounds like to me. The practice that happened, that's something that teams have been doing on a regular basis. Where I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs do it, Eagle, all the teams that you try to get to that level as far as winning. That's just that's called Wednesday for them. But over in Chicago, it's, oh my God, and Johnson's in their ass and getting very intense and all this stuff. And for other teams, it's just another day. So I'd like to hear and see more of that in training camp prior to the season starting.
And seeing what I got up on the screen, the NFC quarterbacks. These are the ones that are whoever put together the order, I don't know, but there's only, there's two NFC North teams quarterbacks that are in there. You can argue who's better, Jared Goff or Jordan Love, but your guy's not up there, obviously being the second-year quarterback that he is. That having been said, I don't think he should be up there. There's a lot more better quarterbacks in the NFC in reality. However, their rankings per se compared to the AFC, it's not even close. The AFC's got better quarterbacks, but now this is the side that you got to get to the Super Bowl with, and your guy's not there. Will he be able to creep up? I mean, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, who do you think is better in reality when you see that list there, Cuervo? Which one's better? Is it Jordan Love that's going to be better in reality, or are we going to go the other route and pick the other guy?
That's tough because, I think that Jared Goff's going to be going through some big changes. He doesn't have Ben anymore. You've had a couple offensive linemen in Detroit that either left the team or I think one of them retired. So there's a lot of changes in Detroit. And I know people still have a lot of love for the Lions, but I also think that a lot of people know that they're going to take a step back, and which is what I expect from them as well. So, how
do you feel about I guess in reality? As far as that is concerned for the Lions, he's the new offensive coordinator up there, former Jet offensive. I mean, God, that can't be great. A great situation, as far as with Jared Goff having someone that he can really, really depend on that has been successful for enough seasons to where he can feel confident going into the season.
Yeah, and I think what hurts them just as much, losing Ben and even Aaron Glenn on the other side. Everybody always talks about Ben Johnson, but keep in mind they lost Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, as well. So that was a huge blow to their coaching staff. And I think the other part you think about too is the other guys that also left Detroit, guys like Antoine Randall L that left to go be the receivers coach with the Bears. They almost lost their offensive line coach but I think he stayed, and I think he kept the same position. But so there's been a few position coaches too that have left Detroit, and I think one of the defensive guys went with Glenn to the Jets, if I remember right. So there's going to be some. That line seems going to look different, even with the same players. I think it's going to look different. So, it's hard to say. I don't know if Goff, if he can maintain the same level that he was playing with, even though he's got the same guys. And Jordan Love, I mean, those the receive. I think that if you're talking stat wise, I think Love may have a better year if he can stay healthy. Because remember, he did get hurt and he was out for 3-4 games last year. So, but statistically, if Love stays healthy, I think he may have the better year. But as far as who the better quarterback is, I think Goff's a better quarterback.
They're on when we go on. Aren't the Bears on TV this after we get done online? They're on early, if I'm not mistaken. The Bears. They got their
they're playing as soon as we're off the air.
Yeah, so when we get off the air, the Bears are, I'll ask you, since you think they're going to be in last place, what are you expecting in the preseason game? Since that is actually going to happen, you get an idea what you think is going to happen with the Bears. So do we see Caleb Williams? And if we do, how long do we see him? What's your take upon that?
Well, you won't see him today. But I fully expect to see him next week in that game against Buffalo. That's for whatever reason, that's the plan. They're not going to play Caleb today. They're not going to play any starters.
Right.
So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think they should play, even if it's just 1 or 2 series, get them out there, let them get a feel of the offense and then sit them down. But
so is it going to be Bagnett, or is it going to be Case Keenum or Austin Reed? Which, by the way, Case Keenum right there's got to be in the top 5 of backup quarterbacks in the NFL, by the way. So I think that's great. But Tyson Bagnett and Austin Reed, I don't think we'll even see Case Keenum, or do you think we'll see him?
You might see him, but Tyson Bagent is going to get he's going to get most of the.
Is that how you say his name? Thank you for the correction. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as who are they playing today, by the way, the Bears were playing who?
The Miami Dolphins.
Oh, interesting. That's actually kind of, even with the backups playing, that might be actually an interesting game in reality, Cuervo. I mean, you got the Dolphins who need to do what they need to do, up on top of your team playing together. Your team and the Miami Dolphins are kind of like the same type of team on where are they going to go this season. Are the Bears going to be able to build off the momentum, or are the Dolphins going to be able to develop momentum? Because I'm actually kind of worried about the Dolphins, and we'll talk about them. And we talked about them last week. So what I don't know. I think it's a good matchup, at least as far as preseason is concerned, and finding out who the backups can be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know Miami's plan. I don't know if anybody's going to play starter-wise. I do know that, obviously they had that joint practice on Friday, and it didn't sound like it went well for Tua in that first string offense. So,
gotcha.
But I think I actually disagree a little bit with you, Sonny. I think these teams are going in different directions. I think Miami, with the issues that they got with Tyreek Hill, and they trade Jalen Ramsey away. Who else did they lose? But and then the concerns with Tua as far as his health. You don't have any of that with the Bears. Caleb, as of right now, is perfectly healthy. No issues with the receiving core, whether it's conduct or contract-wise or anything like that. So stock is rising a little bit for the Bears, while Miami's might be going down, just because the situation you got with Miami and this uncertainty of Tua and the uncertainty of Tyreek Hill. There's already rumors going around he may not even be a Dolphin come week 1. I'd be shocked if that happens. But that's it's all rumors until it happens, right? So
exactly. You read my mind. That's exactly. You don't know what you're going to get in reality. So, Podfather, we're talking about the Bears. Cuervo has them finishing last in this division. What's your take up on where you think you could see the Bears?
Bears are going to be a hard out. Okay, I mean, they're going to be one of those teams I think that's going to be really good in games that are not divisional games. I think divisional games is when they're going to suffer a little bit more than what they normally are. I mean, I know you can't be a 500 team in a 17-game season, but I can see them being 8-9, maybe 7-10. Because again, this is going to be a very tough division. I mean, the difference between first and fourth might be a matter of 2 games. So, I got the Bears finishing third. So, I think the Lions losing both their offense and defensive coordinator is going to really, really hurt them. And again, Jared Goff has never really seen anything positive until he had those coaches there. Now he doesn't have them there anymore. So, does he go back to what he used to be, or does he go back to to what he was last year? Because again, I love Campbell as a coach, but he is the mediator between offense and defense. He's not I don't think he was a play caller. So,
yep,
it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I think the Lions take a huge dive in the fourth, but only by a game or 2 though. So I think I see the Bears finishing third.
Gotcha. All right.
I've got
now,
more
that being
faith
said,
in the Bears. I've got more faith in the Bears than Cuervo does. Wow.
Well, you're not a realist, though.
And I got more faith in the Cowboys than you do.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy how that works?
And you don't call me a realist.
And you guys are going to switch interests, I tell you right now. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. There's one guy that is in the green room. Let's bring him in.
Dig it, sucker.
I can always dig it with this guy, by the way, because this guy knows his stuff. This guy has known his stuff over the 6 years that he's been with us, maybe even more. I can't remember. It's the one, the only, the best smile on the internet. It is Bryce in Brooklyn. Good morning, Bryce. How you doing, my friend? Always good to see you, even with the ugly thing you got on your shoulder.
Another football season is here. Good to see everyone. Good to see the gang. Good to be back on the show.
Yes, you missed Obie. He had to get in and out, but you did miss Obie. So that's too bad, because I would love had both of you there. But we are talking about the NFC North right now, and the Chicago Bears. Cuervo has them finishing last in his own division. No love in reality for his Bears going into this. What's your take upon what you think that you'll be able to see as far as the Bears are concerned, as we are talking them last in this division?
Well, first off, Sonny, let me say I respect you representing your Jaguars. We went down to Jacksonville, had a very spirited preseason game.
Yes, yeah. By the way, you're right. It was a very spirited. You got 23 seconds? Here.
Holy smokes. They got a shot.
He just kicked a 70-yard field goal. Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
I've never seen that. The NFL record. That would be an NFL record.
In the first half. Holy.
It is not a record. It doesn't even exist in reality, but that was kind of cool.
What happened?
Sonny, is he the starting kicker?
Say again?
Is he the new starting kicker? That's your kicker?
Yeah, I guess I don't listen. Kickers suck. I don't even know who that was.
What's a starting kicker?
No, that
Yeah, what is it?
He's the guy that's going to win that job. He's going to be your full-time kicker, right? He's not like some practice guy kicker, is he?
Hey, I'll find out what his name was because I don't even know who it was. But
He's number 39.
Here it is. Cam Little. I've heard of him, so at least I can say I've heard of him. So that's kind of good.
That guy right there just kicked himself into a job. That
right.
100%.
I don't care.
Talk about that.
I don't care if
he can miss them. He can miss them all year long, and guess what? There he is.
I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's coming from high school. I don't care where he's from. You kick a 70-yard field goal, you got a job with the Jaguars.
That's what I said.
Absolutely. I'm at least keeping him to see if okay, you kick a 70-yarder now, I got to give you a chance to see if you can kick him in the regular season. You've earned it. Once you hit that, you're the kicker.
So, that being said, the Bears. What's your take upon what you think we'll see with the Bears this season, seeing how Cuervo's got them in last place within the division, and I think I agree with him.
Cuervo has always been, for as fanatical as Bears fans are and can be, Cuervo has always been level-headed. He has always been a level-headed, diehard Bears fan. So Cuervo, sadly, I have to agree with you.
Sorry.
I have to agree with you. Here are my rankings for this division. At number 4, I got the Chicago Bears. Not because I don't think they're in a better position at the quarterback position than Minnesota, because I actually think they are. It's the other team around. It's the requisite parts around the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings that have me giving them the slight edge over the Bears. This does not mean that the Bears are going to finish with 5 wins this year. I just feel overall this division is going to regress a little bit to the mean, and you're not going to have 14-win teams going at it at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the records are going to even out more. I think the Bears are going to have. I think the Bears are going to have an okay season. I think they are building the identity. You got the new coach, you got the new quarterback. It's asking them a lot to win this division when everyone's coming into their own kind of, coming into their own kind of place. So I'm going to give the Bears. I'm going to put the Bears last in the division, but I can see them getting 7 to 8 wins. I can see that happening in a competitive division. Then I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think the team around Minnesota has some holes in it, but they got a nice team. But that quarterback position is still unstable. You just can't think that J.J. McCarthy's going to jump in and pick up where Sam Darnold left off. I think there's going to be.
Why wouldn't you think that? Because if you take a look at Sam Darnold, let's just be honest, the guy sucked. Okay, before he ended up in Minnesota, before he ended up with that head coach, why do you think that head coach can't do the same thing with J.J. McCarthy, or do you think he can?
I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying you're asking a lot in year one for him to replicate that type of production. I'm not saying Sam Darnold to me is not a great quarterback, but he was very productive in that system. And I think that system produces good numbers. But he is a rookie. And so the only reason why I'm putting them over the Bears is because you got the second-year quarterback, you got the first-year head coach. The Bears are still trying to find their way. I'm going to give Minnesota the slight edge. Number 2, the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, I think, is going to progress from the mistakes that he made last year. They got the coach, the team around him, not a bad team. I think that team can win 10 games. I think that's a 10, 11-win team.
So you have him at your Green Bay Packers in what place?
Second place in that division.
Okay.
Number 1, I'd go with Detroit Lions. The Lions have a lot of question marks at the coaching staff, but I believe in their head coach now. and I can't believe I'm saying that because I couldn't believe they hired him. But he has proven to be a solid head coach, knowing how to A, bring in the right coaches, B, get the most out of his players. He still has Jared Goff, quarterback with the most experience. Even though I've never been a big believer in Jared Goff, but he has shown in that system he can play well. I think they have a good enough team to where if they get 11 wins, say the Packers get 10, and edge out the Packers, but that division is going to be still highly contested, but you're not going to see, I think, the 13-win team. That's where I'm going with it.
Interestingly enough, so you got winning the division, the Detroit Lions. So I guess the question then I'll have for you is: are you worried about what you've seen in the preseason game? I mean, I'm not, but parts of me wants to know what did happen. Ben Johnson gone. It was horrible. But then again, we also got to remember who these guys were. These guys were the third and fourth, lines. I mean, and how the Bears ended up, how the Lions ended up winning games with injuries, with the backups, and what you've seen from the backups. I guess I'm a little bit worried, not because of the winning, but the backup. If anybody gets hurt, how are they going to adjust? Are they going to be like they did last year? Are you worried about seeing that same kind of thing?
Well, yeah, but the Lions showed that in the regular season they could overcome those teams because they have good coaching.
Last year, yes, they showed they could do it, but
so
the same coordinators out there.
So based on what they've done, and also remember who hired those coordinators, Dan Campbell. So I think Dan Campbell has earned a little bit of leeway to say, hey, can he hire other coordinators and figure it out? I think that gives him the slight edge going into this year to win that division again. I think they can do it, but I don't think that's 14 games. I don't see 14 games. Like, the winner of that division may win 10 or 11.
And that was the other thing I was going to ask Podfather about. Within the NFC North, how many games do you think it's going to be for any team to win that division, Podfather, just looking at the division and how it's going? Because I have a completely different version of the NFC North than the Bryce in Brooklyn. Go ahead, Podfather.
We'll tell you what. I'm going to drop my son off here at his mom's house, so come back to me here in about 5 minutes, okay?
We'll do that. We'll come back with him. And that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. I think where the Lions are is they're starting anew. And I remember how they started anew when Dan Campbell came in. Okay. And it didn't get together until 3 or 4 years. But that was also, how long did they have Ben Johnson? I don't even remember how long Johnson was with them in reality. I know it was 2, but I don't think it was 3. So, how he's going to be able to get those teams to listen to their coordinators, trust them. And then I got to ask myself, how much does Dan Campbell trust, his new offensive coordinator? Let's be honest. John Morton is going to have to be the guy that's going to lead them, because the defense, I think, is there. The offense is where I got the question marks going into this season for the Lions. That's the reason why I got the Lions finishing 3rd in this division. So, I don't know. What do you think, Cuervo?
Lions finishing 3rd now. I'm wondering, between Green Bay and Minnesota, who you got finishing 1st and 2nd. For as far as the Lions, I'm going to drop them down to 2nd. I think they finished 2nd in the division. Like Bryce said, I mean, we're not breaking news here. There's a lot of questions about the coaching staff. Are they going to be the right guys to fill the shoes of a Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn? Are they going to play at the same level that they've been playing? Even though the players haven't changed, there's a lot of things that have changed in Detroit. Like I said earlier, before Bryce got on, you got to keep in mind there's 2 offensive linemen that are no longer with the Detroit Lions. One of them left for another team, and I think the other one retired. So that's going to be a big deal, because the Lions last year were considered a top 3 offensive line in the NFL. and now you lose 2 out of those 5. That's 40% of your offensive line gone. Now you got to see if these guys that are going to fill in are going to be, guys that are going to be able to continue to play at that level, or hold that line to that level, or are they going to digress, or is there going to be a decline?
That's my worry for the Lions. How much will they digress? Not just offensively. I think you're gonna see a dip in both sides of the ball. In reality, a little bit of a dip. But then again, as Bryce said, you're talking about the Lions, how many games they won last year compared to what they might do this year with a total different regime in the coordinator spots on, because they lost them all in reality. So it's how quick they're able to get back to where they were last year with the new regime coming in. And I just think that takes time to build that chemistry there, Bryce. I don't trust it. Not because of what we've seen in the Hall of Fame game. I don't really give a shit about that. In reality, what you've seen in that was a preseason football game where the backups don't know the game. They don't know the speed. They don't know what they're doing at any given point compared to where they're going to be even by next month. In reality, they're going to be better next month. So I'm not worried about a preseason game. I'm more worried about the chemistry between coordinators to the players. And then at that point, if there are injuries, will they still have the oomph to do what they did last year, even with the injuries, and still win football games? I don't have them winning that many games. I have maybe the Lions winning about 9 games, maybe 8. In reality. So that's kind of where you kind of get an idea. I see too many losses against, if you look at the schedule, I see too many losses that can happen until I see it, week to week, like Cuervo does for his Bears. I want to see it first before I say, yep, the Lions are the best in this division, because I just don't think they are based upon the new regime.
I mean, I think it's fair. It's fair to talk about the coordinators and the impact that's going to have on the team. But then you also have to acknowledge that having basically a rookie quarterback, even with Kevin O'Connell, who's a great play caller, has a great scheme, but he's still a rookie. So what you're saying is you're banking on the rookie not being as much of a net negative as the new coordinators.
Based upon what O'Connell did with Sam Darnold. Listen, Sam Darnold was washed. And if you, before the season, were going to ask me who's the better quarterback, Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy, I probably would have went with J.J. McCarthy. And that also being said, there's a lot to be said. Even though he couldn't play, he held the clipboard. Look, and all the stuff. He got what a lot of rookie quarterbacks don't get, which is time to learn the game. Now he gets the opportunity with 1 year under his belt, even though he was not, a healthy scratch, had a lot of time to, I hope he did, is be able to study what his craft is at the quarterback position. And I'm sure they had him and his coach had a lot of time to talk in the offseason as well, to what he needs to do and what's going on. So I trust that more than just a new regime coming in Detroit to take over everything. I think I do. McConnell and the second year J.J. McCarthy, even though it's rookie play, I think I trust that more in reality. That's just my take. And so Cuervo, any validity, or do I need to stop drinking? I'm putting stuff in my coffee here on a Sunday morning talking about the Lions.
Well, I mean, I think the fact that you said 8 to 9 wins, yeah, you might want to check what's in that coffee. But,
okay.
Well, some of the other things you did, it's this, like I said, it's the same thing that I'm talking about, Bryce is talking about, people on ESPN are talking about, NFL Network. It's all over the place. And if that many people are mentioning it, then it's got to be a true concern when it comes to the Lions about how different is this team going to look with different coordinators. The one thing that saves them is, yes, Dan Campbell is still the head coach. That is still a constant that they have within the team. But I guess maybe I'm just like traumatized by the whole offensive line situation, but I think it's a fair thing to ask because, like, how is that offense going to look?
What teams came on? I love it's me.
Yeah, he's on team podcast.
Hopefully it's not. There's Tarvin. Yeah, Tarvin joining us on a wonderful morning. You know, where's Cam playing? Yeah, he's asking the same question. To see Tarvin, but all right. So that being said, all right. So I got the Lions in place in reality in this division. Where do you see the Vikings there? Bryce and Cuervo, you know, talk amongst yourself.
We're losing.
You know, Green Bay Packers and maybe the Vikings. Where do you think you got them?
Get off that dial-up internet, Sonny. Time to upgrade.
Graceful dial-up. No, like I said, I've got the Vikings at number 3. I got the Packers at number 2.
Okay.
Only because I think the team around Detroit, even though there's, like Sonny said, uncertainty with the coordinators, they play a little tougher. I think they bring a little bit of that extra stuff that the Green Bay Packers still don't have. I think it's going to be close between those two by about a game. But I'm going to give the edge. I like, which is, again, hard for me to say, but I like Dan Campbell over Matt LaFleur, and I like the way Detroit plays and how they were able to find answers even amongst their injuries at the end of this last season. They were able to find enough answers to finish with that number 1 seed. So I like them a little bit more than Green Bay, who I have at number 2.
Fair enough.
Cuervo, what do you think? Where you got the Packers and the Vikings as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, so as I mentioned a minute ago, I got Detroit finishing second, so that leaves first and third open. All right, so listen, I mean, if I could put Green Bay 5th, I'd put them 5th, but there's only 4 teams in the division. But I got the Packers going 3rd, just because I think the miracle Jordan season or the Jordan Love miracle plays are over. I think that stuff that he was getting away with his first couple years, I think that those are going to come to a stop. I think teams are going to know how to get to him a little bit better. I think they're going to defend those receivers a little better. We're gonna see that, you know, the Green Bay really doesn't have a go-to receiver. They don't have a dominant number 1 guy like an Amon-Ra St. Brown, like a Justin Jefferson, that you're like, holy crap, we have to make it a priority to stop this guy. And I don't think the Packers have that guy. You can say Jaden Reed, but I mean, he has 1 out of every 4 to 5 good games, maybe 6 games. And then
How about Matthew Golden? Do you think he can step up?
I don't know. He's a rookie. We'll see. Maybe he explodes for rookie of the year type numbers. I don't know, but
that part I agree with you. I'm worried about my pick based upon that alone. But my question, I'm wondering, can Jordan Love make? We look at quarterbacks at not how good they are, it's how good he can make other players that are not the number 1s and thing. And then that's kind of a level where you look, can that quarterback do that? Can the quarterback make a golden child and be the guy that they can actually depend upon week in and week out and make him a superstar? I don't know if we're going to be able to get that. I don't know, really, to be honest. I don't know if Jordan Love is capable of being that kind of quarterback. I just look at all the quarterbacks in this division. I just think he's the best one. So,
and I think you see too, like Love had games where he made some bad mistakes, and it's like, okay, did you? Are you going to correct those? And we're going to find out. So that's why I think, for Green Bay, the play of Jordan Love, it's a question mark. So I'm going to put them in 3rd. And so that leaves with the Minnesota Vikings. I got them winning this division. Look, I'm sold on Kevin
Vikings
O'Connell.
winning the division.
Yes, they're gonna win.
Cuervo, you're awesome. Cuervo, you are awesome.
We're going to win this division. Nobody's going to convince me that Kevin O'Connell isn't like he's a magician, man. Like when it comes to play calling offensively and stuff like that. I mean, he got Sam Darnold to a level he hasn't played before. So what do you think he'll do for J.J. McCarthy? You know, the only thing is going to be the thing that's going to hurt him, though. The thing that's going to hurt him, obviously, with the news coming out this past week. You know, they're not going to have Jordan Addison the first 3 games of the season. So can they get through those 3 games and get wins? So that's really going to set them back.
You broke up when you said that. Who's out?
Jordan Addison, their number 2 receiver.
Addison. Yep.
He's suspended for 3 games.
So
he got suspended because of the PED use.
So that means you're going to have to see some guys, Christian Watson, maybe Jaden Reed. They actually, you know, I don't know. I'm worried. Yeah, exactly. I am worried about that. And Bryce made that, you know, kind of actually you said it. I made it worry. Are you worried about the wide as they move on?
I couldn't hear you, Sonny, because you've got that dial-up internet you're using.
Say that again, Bryce. I didn't hear you.
I said, can't hear you, Sonny. You're using that dial-up internet and you're breaking up.
I know. What's your take up on the wide receivers with the Packers?
It's a good group. I mean, it's not a group to me that's, you know, it's a good group. I think I'm wondering what's up with Romeo Doubs. Are they trying to trade him? Is he still, like what's the deal with him? I know there's been some talk with my Steelers. Could he possibly get traded and come on board? But I think it's a good group, and I think they got a really good quarterback. So, I'm fine with it.
All right, so basically that's the NFC North, and
I still got him number 2, Sonny, because I still think overall, look,
I think
it's going to be more bunched up.
It's
going to be more bunched up to me. It's not going to be 1 or 2 teams separating themselves, I don't believe, and then the other teams just bottoming out. I think it's going to be a lot closer. But overall, the Detroit Lions get enough wins, 10-11, to win. Minnesota, I see what we're saying about Kevin O'Connell, but you're coming in with the rookie. I think people are going to be no Jordan Addison, Cuervo. That's a great point for first few games. Like, is the Minnesota defense with Brian Flores good enough to hold up and keep that team in games? We'll see, but I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to be a little bit hesitant on that.
Gotcha. All right, listen. I'm having some problems. Stop, Father.
I've been waiting for the last 20 minutes to get back on the damn show.
Well, hey, you're lucky I haven't even seen you. Evidently, I'm having some problems over here. So anyway, go with your order.
We all know.
Go with your order of the NFC.
You can't wait 20 minutes to get on, man.
No.
Who's talking here? Because both of y'all are talking.
Go with your order of the NFC North, there, Podfather.
Okay. Number 4 is going to be the Lions. I think they're going to have a hell of a drop off this year, but not by. I mean, record wise, they'll be in 4th place. They'll be really close record wise throughout. Everybody's going to be really tight. Number 3 is going to be the Bears. I think the Bears will do enough to squeak out a win or 2 over the Lions to move them into 4th place. So that'll help them out. Number 2 is going to be the Vikings, because I think we're going to have the rookie year, sophomore type thing that Jaden Daniels had with the Commanders. We're going to have that with J.J. McCarthy. And number 1 is going to be, of course, the Packers, because out of everybody in that whole division, they're probably the more complete team.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I almost agree with them a little bit. I have the Lions in 3rd
place, and I'm disgusting. You got them in 4th, and you're okay with that.
No, it's because
Hey,
you have the Packers
it's the
winning the
love
division.
affair of reality. The love affair of reality. All right. That being said, of course, that's the name of the show. I am really interested in, and I'm finally glad he's in because a lot of things happened while one Bryce in Brooklyn were around. Okay. So let's do this in reality. I want to do just this really quick. I'm going to throw these up because I want to get your opinion on them before we're going to talk Steelers. Look at the placard that's going to be coming up here right there on the screen there. Bryce, is it going? Oh, yeah. Come on. Is it
It was up there.
is it on the screen? Because I'm not seeing it. So come on.
That's
There it
dial
is.
up for you.
Right. Greatest Steelers. Yeah, well, I'll work with that in a moment. But there we go. Here's your grade for the offseason. Looking at them, Bryce, what's your take up on what you see as far as these grades are concerned?
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's very fair. I would rate the trading for DK Metcalf a little bit higher, B+. I think he is a perfect receiver for their system. And DK is a top receiver in this league. I think he is. I think there's another level you may be able to go to. Remember, DK has played with pretty good quarterbacks. Gino, he's played with Russ. But we'll see. Playing with a guy that can get you the football in different spots like Aaron Rodgers should be interesting. Here's the thing that we need to just call out right now, because I know, you guys may not really, how do I want to say this? You may not be thinking about this, but there's one panelist on here. We all know he's going to be secretly hating against the Steelers because his guy, Aaron Rodgers, the guy he hates the most, is going to be quarterbacking the team. So he'll be smiling all year, and he'll try to be unbiased because he's never been the level-headed fan. But deep down, he's going to be rooting for my Steelers to finish last in this division. So let's just call that out right now. That being said, because that's the name of this show, here's what Brian Tarver and Cuervo and some of the other NFC North fans don't realize. I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not going to say it. I killed him last year when we were on the show because I didn't like the way he acted, some of the things he said. Here's what I know about Aaron Rodgers. Here's what we know. If he is willing to play within a system like the Steelers have, where it's going to be run first, manage the football game, make the throws that are there, if he's willing to do that, Aaron can still make the throws. He's shown that in camp, and he's showing that every day of practice that they have. That if they run the system, if it's not going to be 2010, 2012, Aaron get in the shotgun, run 5 wides, and pick your matchup, the Steelers are going to suck if they do that. But if he runs the system, runs play action, they use the middle of the football field, he can make those throws. The arm is there. If they do that and allow him to manage the game, quick stat, Aaron Rodgers, I believe, when he throws between 25 and 40 passes in a game, he has less than 2 interceptions. I think his record is 70-7. This is what the Steelers are betting.
That's impressive.
They're betting on him to be a very high-end game manager. And if they need him to make certain throws, maybe games are behind, they still feel he can dial that up like Sonny's internet when he needs to. So therefore, I see why they picked him up. I would be rooting for the team. I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, but because he's on the team, I want him to do well. And I know there's a panelist on this team, on this show, that will be rooting for Pittsburgh to go 0-16. And I know he's here. He ain't going to fool me because I know what he'll really be thinking throughout the season, regardless of his game-to-game predictions.
So the Steelers,
I can't believe you would call Sonny out like
the
that,
division, the tough division that they're in.
Man, Sonny's dial-up is killing us, man. I can't even hardly hear him.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, no, yeah, I mean, you
It's
described
my
Sonny
fault.
to a
I'm
T
sorry.
right there, though.
Where do you see the Steelers in your division? I'm going to try to do something really quick. I'm going to bow out real quick. Where do you see the Steelers in the division? I mean,
All right, here we go.
You got this going on.
All right, here we go.
NFC.
All right, here we go. Here we go. My AFC North predictions. Number 4, I wish Obie was here to see this, to hear this. His Cleveland Browns. They're finishing last in this division again. Now, they don't have some talent at quarterback position. Unless one of those quarterbacks, i.e. Shador, they end up starting and he really shows, no, I am that dude like I was in college and the pros, then it could be a totally different ball game. I see this team finishing last. I'm not saying they're going to win 3 games, but last in the division. Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe in the quarterback. I believe in the wide receiver unit. I think overall the team, kicking game, defense, special teams, along with everything else, is not as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers finishing number 2. I think overall the team is balanced, but we got to see what that offensive line looks like. We got to see if we can stop the run. And can Aaron Rodgers consistently play within the system, shut his mouth, and just throw the ball? Can he do that? And then number 1, the Baltimore Ravens. Much as I hate to say it, it's sick to me, they still got a good coach, still got the quarterback. They have Lamar. I'm not a fan of that receiving unit. That could cause some problems. And Pittsburgh was 10-3 at one point and leading this division before they collapsed. So 10-2. I'm sorry. So therefore, I'm going to go with the Ravens because I'm giving Lamar his respect. I think the defense will be a little better, actually. A good defense. So I'm going to give it to him, but it's going to be close. But I'm going to go Pittsburgh number 2.
Look, I mean, like you
Cuervo, how do you have this division?
I was on the wrong
Listen.
internet. Just so that you know, this should be better. I was on the wrong connection. My apologies. So I should be better for the rest of the thing. So, just really quickly, so I can hear, because I did hear real fast order on the NFC North from Bryce. Do it one more time so I
On the
can
AFC
hear.
North, I've got number 4, the Cleveland Browns. Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 1, the Baltimore Ravens.
There we go. All right. Thank you very much for a recap, and hopefully I'll be better through this. I just on the wrong connection. All right. So that being said, Cuervo, look at the AFC North. Kind of idea what you think you're going to get going through there, and I know he's doing this. He's ready for it. Go ahead, my friend.
Let's see if that unbiased attitude is really going to come out now. Let's see.
All right. Go ahead, there, Cuervo. Shoot from the hip.
All right. If the Steelers could finish 5th, I'd put them in 5th, but there's only 4 teams, so. No, Bryce, I think you'll be a little surprised. All right, by what my order is here, and it has nothing to do with what you just said or anything. This is truly what I think. All right, keeping it real, like Chris Rock.
Absolutely.
Look, the Browns are going to finish last. We all know this. There's no way. Keeping it real. There's no way they're finishing anything but last. It would have to take a lot of injuries in that division amongst the other 3 teams for them to finish.
That was terrible. Crazy knucklehead are terrible.
Look, Chuck, the Browns are terrible. Okay, I don't want to hear about this new stadium garbage. Get a good team. That's what I say about the Bears too. But so I got the Cleveland Clowns, as Bryce likes to say, they're gonna finish last. All right, in 3rd place. A lot of uncertainty defensively. Actually, they're probably one of the worst defenses from a performance standpoint, not talent. And Joe Burrow's, he's only going to be able to work his magic to Jamar Chase for so long before teams start to clamp down on it. So I got the Bengals finishing 3rd. In 2nd place, those Pittsburgh Steelers are going to finish 2nd. Okay? Here's the thing. there's a little bit of addition by subtraction, and then there's obviously the stuff that they added, right? Bryce, you may think I'm crazy. You may think I need to get drug tested or whatever. I think letting Najee Harris walk was the best thing for that backfield. I do, because I think he was kind of setting the backfield back a little bit. I think it's Jaylen Warren's time. I think he's going to be a guy that's really going to take his game to a whole new level, and that ground game is going to be back for the Steelers. On top of that, I really liked Caleb Johnson, the running back from Iowa, coming out of college. You guys got him in whatever round it was, I forget. I think he's going to be a very good change of pace when Warren is out, and he's getting a breather. He may not have the speed of a what was his name, Archer? I forget his name. That little speed back you guys used to have. But Dre Archer. He ain't as fast, but he reminds me a little bit of him. Caleb Johnson does. So
I like him.
I think they complement each other very well in that backfield, and we all know Steelers football is all about ground and pound. So I think that's where the addition by subtraction comes in. And then obviously the big moves that you guys made. You took your poker hand, you looked at what you had, and you said, I'm all in. You traded for Jalen Ramsey. You traded for Jonnu Smith. You traded for DK Metcalf. You signed Aaron Rodgers. As much as I hate the guy, you can't deny what he did on a Jets offense. A Jet 3,900 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. On a Jets offense.
Can I just interject really quick there, Cuervo? Then why isn't Russell Wilson the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, seeing what he did last year? And then I'll get to you, Bryce. You come in after. I just wanted to get his opinion first, and then I'm going to go to the Podfather after that. Go ahead.
Sonny, I think Bryce is better suited to answer that question, because I can't really give you a good answer as to why. I don't know if it's he just wasn't grasping the offense, or the fact that he just had trouble making certain throws. I really don't know what it is. I don't know why.
And the reason why I asked that question is because Bryce from last year, he was all over that. He saw the stats. He's like, look at what this guy did. And then I thought, and I'll be honest, Bryson, you're on mute, so when you come back, hit it. I think Bryce thought that Russell Wilson would be the starter this year going into it. At least that's what my indication was at the end of last year. Go ahead, Bryce, on mute.
I thought if he played well, and look, what did I say? I said Denver, 26 touchdowns, 9 receptions. Russ can do that. He got hurt, and then when he came in, he was on fire. Here's the problem with Russell Wilson. And I said this, guys. Did I not say what's really going to set Russell Wilson apart is, can they figure out how he can get better throwing over the middle of the field?
Yes.
Can they scheme it up well enough for him that you find a way to make sure, okay, this is how Russell Wilson wins over the middle of the field. And they couldn't do it. When they were on Hard Knocks, Ravens defensive coaches said, this guy's off threes and layups. It's either the deep ball or a check down. And they never solved the middle of the field. You got to be able to threaten every blade of grass. And he couldn't do it. And when he couldn't throw over the middle of the field, he started taking sacks. You couldn't see. They didn't scheme it up properly. And that's why he's not there. I think this team wanted Justin Fields. But they didn't want to pay Justin Fields what he got for the Jets. So their backup was, we'll go get Aaron Rodgers. Because listen, regardless of what you think, the Pittsburgh Steelers next year are trading up for a quarterback when the draft is in Pittsburgh. They're going to have about 10 picks. They're going to package their picks. They're going to trade up for one of these quarterbacks.
Why didn't the Steelers go after Shedeur? I've been waiting for this answer since the draft and everything. We haven't had you. Why did the Steelers not go out and granted it was a preseason game, but we saw a guy that was composed. I don't like the guy personally. I just think he's an egotistical idiot. I can't stand those guys. That having been said, he showed that he's got some poise. And hey, wait. He has some poise, and he looked pretty good. How come the Steelers didn't go get him?
First of all, whether Shador is egotistical or not is way out in left field. It doesn't apply to this conversation. Number one. Number two, this is interesting because I wanted them to draft Shador because I saw Shador as, could he be a possible starter one day in the league and a starting quarterback in the league? Yes. I didn't see high-end talent. Like, could he be a top 10 quarterback?
Gotcha.
No, I didn't. I don't see that. But I thought you had a potential starter. So once you got to the fourth round, why not take a chance? I thought he was better in college than Will Howard. But they didn't have that type of grade. I would have liked to have seen them draft Shador because drafting Shador doesn't change the fact, unless he were to come in and light it up, doesn't change the fact that you're going to draft a quarterback next year. And then you got your quarterback room. So I would have liked to see it, but I just don't think they saw what they wanted to see in the type of quarterback they were looking for. I think they knew they were going to go get their quarterback next year. They wanted a guy who would be a backup guy, and not a guy that may even be a starter one day. Because I don't know if Will Howard is a franchise quarterback. Could he be a good starter? Maybe. So I think they went with Will Howard, which in the fifth round, look, I wasn't mad, fellas, but I would have liked to see them draft Shador. I thought Shador was the better college quarterback.
I think they should have too. And that being said, one more thing. Look at this. This right here tells you a lot. Oh, hold on. I hit the wrong one. This one right here says a lot about this football team. They went out and they got the guy. They paid the guy. In reality, made it a huge deal for that. That record alone tells you they should have threw money at that guy. I just think that what we're seeing really lately in reality is dragging of the feet of football teams against good football players. And then you get this. I think that's quite funny. That guy better not be picking up too many checks. I completely agree. That you and I both agree. Not too many other do. This guy's the best defensive player in the NFL, regardless, and he deserved that money. You can argue Garrett, you can argue Parsons, but Parsons can't carry his jock. That being said, what's your take up on the J.J. Watson? Then I'll go to the guy on the bottom there. I'll bring in Trey Mack after that.
Well deserved. I'm interested to see how TJ, as he gets a little older and gets towards the end, I'm interested to see how he continues to win. Because not only is TJ an uber athlete, he's not a freakish athlete, but he's an uber athlete. The power, the technique, the hand usage is so elite that this guy's going to continue to win. And his ability to diagnose film and understand things, I mean, he's really the complete package in terms of playing the outside linebacker position. As I've said, TJ Watt is the closest thing to Lawrence Taylor that I've seen in the league.
I agree.
In this generation, in terms of being able to impact and affect the game. So well done. I'm glad he got his money. Listen, in 2025, $41 million for this type of guy is not unheard of. The salary cap is exploding. So this is kind of what it is, and I'm not mad at it. There's another thing I want to address real quick. I didn't want to lose Minkah Fitzpatrick. You guys know I've always loved Minkah. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick was the closest thing to Ed Reed that I saw. But if you're going to trade Minkah Fitzpatrick, you go get Jalen Ramsey, who I think Jalen Ramsey could be this generation's Charles Woodson, a guy who plays corner, a guy who plays DB, a guy who goes to safety, can impact the game, and still has a lot of great athletic traits. I think that's a nice move. We'll see what we do with Jonnu. The big thing I'm concerned with is, number one, this will be all about the offensive line. If Roger Jones at left tackle and that offensive line doesn't come around, it's going to struggle. And then can you get better production out of the number 2 receiver? Are you going shopping, or are you bringing in Gabe Davis, or are you sticking with what you have? But if that offensive line plays well, like if this team finishes top 10 in rushing, you got a 12-win team or more.
All right, very good. Now, Trey
I want
Mack.
to hear what Podfather has to say about his defensive guy. That's what I'm hearing. I know we're talking NFC North and AFC North, but boy, I want to hear what our number one Cowboys fan has to say about that mess down there that they've created.
Go ahead, Trey.
What am I talking about? The AFC North, or am I talking about Micah Parsons?
Talk about what Bryce said. Talk about the AFC North. What's your take upon what you're seeing and your ideas on what the way they finish?
Okay,
And then
AFC North is different from what y'all. Fourth place will go to the Bengals. I think Burrow's out after this year. I think he's had enough of this team.
Wow.
I know he likes Ohio.
What?
They can't build around him. Plus, like y'all said, their defense sucks, so that's not going to keep them in games. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Browns. I think later on in the season, we're going to get a full dose of Shedeur Sanders, and I think Cleveland's going to love him. I really do. I think he's going to run for his life. I think he's going to be panicking a little bit more than he is in a preseason game. But I think they're going to see a lot more pluses and minuses with him, and I think they'll do. Again, third place in that division could be 7-10. Second place going to go to. I'm gonna fight down and swallow hard here. I think the Ravens fall to second place this year, and the reason why is because Lamar Jackson.
This stinks! This is total BS!
I'm sorry. Eventually, the law of averages got to catch up to you. The way he plays, everything else. I know he's got a great running back behind him, but that team runs with Lamar Jackson. Period. And I think if he goes down for 5 or 6 weeks, they're in trouble. That makes the number 1 team in the AFC North because unlike Cuervo, I can believe in Aaron Rodgers and Wilson. But give me the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Cuervo, I'm going to say something real quick. While I appreciate the analysis and putting my Steelers number 1, you are sipping that sauce if you think the Bengals are going to finish lower than the Cleveland Browns. It is 11 a.m. where you're at in Texas, and you started drinking real early. Because if you think the Joe Burrow-led team, with him playing all the games, Cuervo, is finishing last in the AFC North, you've been drinking.
Listen.
You started out.
I'm thinking the same thing, Cuervo.
Y'all just wait.
No, wait. Now that being said, Coach, that's the name of the show. Okay, you think those predictions were crazy? I'm going to give you my AFC North. And listen, I
got the Browns
know,
winning. I've watched. Browns are going to win.
No, and I don't know if I'll ever.
If you know what I think you're going to do,
he might not ever come on this show again. He might not ever go on this show again.
I'm leaving this show.
Okay,
I know where you're going, Cuervo. Go ahead. You go ahead.
In fourth position, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it.
I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And here's the thing, and if I end up being wrong, which I probably will be, it's going to be.
Why am I on the big screen?
Because I'm on it. That being said, the guy that if they don't finish last, it's going to be because TJ Watts is going to have to carry that whole team. Because my worry about Aaron Rodgers is then they're not going to score 21 points a game, and they're going to lose games because they can't score more than 21 games because of Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I've seen enough. I gave him all the credit in the world until I saw. Yes, you look at the stats all day long, but when you suck, and you get overinflated numbers. I'm just not going for it. I don't feel that Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers of 4 years ago. Now, granted, he doesn't necessarily have to, but maybe he does because of the division he's playing in. If he was in any other division and the Pittsburgh Steelers were in any other division, I'd have him a lot higher. But the problem is the quality of that team. And then I got Shedeur. By the way, the Browns need to get their heads examined. Simple as that. Shadir Sanders needs to start week number 1. Yeah, I said it, okay? And not because I like him. Everybody knows I hate him. But I love Joe Flacco. Don't get me wrong. But who's going to be better this year? Who's going to be more athletic? Who can get out of more things that might happen, on the rush? It's going to be Shadir Sanders, okay? And I hate the guy. I'm sitting here talking about this guy. He should be the starter week number 1. If he's not, he will be by 4. And so I think that, and then you got that defense that is there. The defense is menacing. It's not just good, it's menacing. And that's going to be one of the problems, I think, that a lot of teams are going to deal. They're going to overlook the Browns because they're the Browns. And I think this year, if they have Shadir Sanders in it, that might be a mistake. So that also being said.
On the big screen, I don't know why I'm not the one talking.
You're not on the big screen. You're on the small screen, but that's because of your connection. That having been said, I got the Bengals win. I got the Bengals coming in second in this division. I think it's time that Joe Burrow does step up. I think it's time for him to take them into the playoffs. And the Bengals, I think, are going to be in.
You want them to do?
I think they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I really do. And it's because of that pressure. And I think Joe Burrow can handle it. I think he's sick of losing. And it's not because of him that they're losing football games. So I think that's where I got the Bengals. I got them. And listen.
What else can he do?
Well, I don't know. But here's one thing. This guy right here, if he doesn't win another MVP this year, I'll be shocked. Because not only that they got the running game that's there, this guy's delivering on his passes. Remember, Bryce, what I talked about this football team? This guy doesn't want to pass the football. He listened to Sonny Clark. He's staying in the pocket. He's making passes, but you still get this. You still get the guy that if it is covered down, he's going to run. This guy's going to run for over 600 yards as well, but it will be the last thing that he does. He will be looking for wide receivers. Then he's got a running game. They are the most complete package of a football team, I think, in the NFL. Now, I do understand that might be a push, and I think but I'm not. And it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't feel good. If Shadir Sanders was in Pittsburgh, okay, I would put the Pittsburgh Steelers probably in second place in this division. They went the wrong direction at the quarterback position, and that is good. So in reality, we're going to talk here. You don't think, Bryce, that they made the mistake of getting Aaron Rodgers? You think that this is a pretty good fit? I'm saying they should have kept Russell Wilson.
First off, so who has the better defense right now? The Browns or the Steelers? Sonny, I'm asking you.
You're asking me, and I think I think the Steelers definitely have a better defense. I'm not even going to question that.
Who has the better kicker? Who has the better kicking game?
I don't know who has the better kicker. Who cares about it? Who does? So tell me. I need to know that.
Conversation. Who has the better kicking game?
I don't know.
And the Steelers, or what the Browns have with Katie?
Who they got? Who does it? Who cares about kickers? I'm one of these old school guys. Who cares about kickers? Now, Brandon, you're going to be. Well, I only know about that because I've seen the highlight. But I don't. When I'm looking at this, and that might be my problem. I don't even look at kickers when I decide who's going to win.
The Steelers have the best kicker in football right now, Chris Boswell.
Who is that? What's his name?
Boswell.
Okay.
Bucker. So
Okay.
So I'm gonna the kicking game edge, Pittsburgh. Okay, who's the better receiver, Sonny? DK Metcalf or Jerry Jeudy?
Man, that one's close. I really do. I think it's close. I think
Pick one.
And it's not because of talent. Is that right now I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying DK Metcalf is better. I'm just saying that the guy that is going to deliver the ball is going to be a big portion on who's going to be better this year. And I don't know. This is just a gut feeling I have, Bryce. I know there's not a lot of
No,
thinking about it.
no.
This is just a gut
On this
feeling.
show, your panelists know there's no logic to this, which is why I'm exposing it that it has no logic. So what you're trying to tell me? Hold on. Let me get ready for this.
Okay, hold on. Let me strap in here.
Let me get ready. Let me ask this question. So what you're telling me? Okay, so Judy is close. So Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers have the better tight ends?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Are you trying to tell me that the difference between the Browns finishing third better than the Steelers is that Shedeur Sanders is better than Aaron Rodgers?
I think if I was going to take a team today and just based up on what I have not seen in the preseason game, I want you to go completely on that.
You trust no. Let me ask you.
I am listening.
You trust Shedeur Sanders?
You are not listening to anybody, Sonny.
I think he's got the more potential to get better, to be better. He's got the potential. The only thing that you can see with Aaron Rodgers is him going and completely being who he is right now, which is average. Let's be honest. Hey, he's average at best. He's average. And listen, I don't think that I want to go into a season with a guy who's average with no uptake more so than Shedeur Sanders. Because now let me just go through that one more thing. Everything I'm hearing about Shedeur Sanders, he's doing right. The first thing you normally hear about guys like that is what he's doing wrong. What he's doing wrong, right? That's what. Listen, I've been hearing nothing. I've been hearing a lot more positive than negative regarding Shedeur Sanders. He's coming into this part. He's doing what he is. Maybe I'm not listening to the right place because Cuervo thinks I've lost my mind. So, but that's just what I am hearing. So, Cuervo, what are you hearing? Because by the eyes almost coming out of your head, evidently I haven't heard the negative that's coming from Sanders, up in, to this point.
Yeah. Just in the middle of, so you say he's doing all the things right. Are we talking on or off the field? Because off the field, he ain't doing so well. Just in mid-June, he got caught. Hold on, let me make sure I use the right word.
He was only 112 miles an hour or something like that.
I fully agree with you, but I'm taking Bryce's look. If Shedeur Sanders was on the Steelers, I'm telling you right now, I think Bryce would say, it's just a speeding ticket. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Bryce? Is that a worry?
It is. No, look, he shouldn't have got a speeding ticket. I'm not worried. I'm talking about the football, Sonny. So you are making all of these.
We're talking on the field.
Yeah, all of these projections.
On the field. That's what I'm going.
And conjectures and all that. He's a 5th-round draft pick, Sonny. Yeah, he had a great college career, but this ain't college. And and it's okay if people don't see him as a franchise quarterback. Doesn't mean he can't be good. But right now, in the systems that they have, you're saying you trust Shedeur Sanders to perform better than Aaron Rodgers with DK Metcalf and the best tight end group in football. In Pittsburgh, you expect Shedeur Sanders to perform better with what he has than Aaron Rodgers perform better with what he has?
I'm just saying by a gut feeling that I got. Go ahead.
Listen, average quarterbacks do not do what Aaron Rodgers did with the Jets last year. Okay? Average quarterbacks, they become like Sam Darnold with the Jets. Now with Vikings with the Jets. So
it's different.
What Aaron Rodgers is going to do to Pittsburgh next year is what Russell Wilson and whoever else they had as their quarterback couldn't do last year. Because he's going to be a strong offensive leader plus he's a general manager. So I mean he's going to really help bring in talent to the team to make him better. So I mean, that's what he do.
Hold on. Podfather. Actually, here's why I disagree with that. What is going in his favor is that he's actually stepping away from that. We're not asking him to be this uber leader and be the savior of the team. We're asking him to come in and play the quarterback position. If anything, when it comes to I've been impressed with Aaron Rodgers and his answers, the way he's treating his teammates so far. If he keeps that, I don't want to hear your conspiracy theories. I want you to focus on throwing the ball. That's all you need to do. Shut up and throw the ball. That's it. If he does that, Sonny's making it out like we're not going to get 28 touchdowns.
Whoa. Back this up. Listen, I'm just saying, if you want to fall in love with numbers and think, you don't think those numbers were inflated last year from them playing so bad? I do. I've also watched it. I mean, when you get behind, you start throwing the football. When you see the number, when they very rarely come up on red zone, I'm telling you right now, that's teams playing from behind. His numbers are stacked. I don't trust the numbers of what I've seen. But great, and I understand what you're saying, but we're also another year. What I'm saying is I'm not going to trust Aaron Rodgers. I did. Remember, you go back to the first year, I loved the idea of Aaron Rodgers. The second year, I loved it going into it, and then I watched it, and I just wasn't impressed because he went from being a good quarterback down to average, and now we're going to throw another year on it, on another football team, and I don't care what anybody is saying. I think they're saying everything right. I think there's a problem. Just a gut feeling.
And why does he look like that in his average? Because Aaron Rodgers wanted to come in and run the Aaron Rodgers system.
I don't trust him not to be that even in Pittsburgh right now, even though you can listen to all the reports.
But that's what I'm saying, which is getting the shotgun. And I've been saying it. Let me find my matchup. I'm going to throw it all over the yard. That's not who he is now. But in this system, if they run the football effectively, he's able to throw the ball between 25 and 40 times a game, find his matchups, get the right concepts, get the guys the football, read the defense, can be a very solid quarterback because in an offense last year, terrible, throwing all the time, coming from behind, all that exposure, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. If he plays more efficient, what does that look like? That's what we're saying.
It's
so
just a
you're
gut
trusting
feel.
Shador Sanders, who we haven't seen take an NFL regular season snap. It's going to be this, whatever, and we don't know that.
I don't, but I'm just saying, that's why I'm saying this is just a gut feeling in reality.
Sonny, let me ask you this question. Who's a better team, the Steelers or the Jets?
Who's a better? The Jets? Are you asking?
Better team, the Steelers or the Jets?
Well, that's obviously it was the Steelers. I'm not.
No. Okay. Now you've taken Aaron Rodgers, who did what he did with the Jets. You're putting him with the Steelers. Doesn't that make the Steelers a little bit better?
I'd say Aaron. I say Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson. I think they should have kept Russell Wilson. Is what I think. I think they turned away from their guy that could have maybe done. And now I'm not going to say he's going to kick it off in New York because that team as a whole I don't trust. I mean, but who would have been better for Russell Wilson to play for, the Steelers or the Giants? Of course, it's the Steelers. But I'm just saying I trust more than what I recently seen with Russell Wilson at the quarterback position for the Steelers, more so than bringing in Aaron Rodgers, and more so, all this is just talk. I don't believe Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe what they're saying. I believe Aaron Rodgers is the same guy he's always been, and he's not going to change. Why? Because he's got all the money.
You need to go on a retreat, sir. You need to go on a retreat, okay? You need to go to one of these retreats.
Maybe that's what it is.
And understand the mind. Yes.
This is total BS.
No, I know. I'm just saying, hey, listen. And by the way, just to throw this out here, sometimes Sonny comes up with the craziest shit that you'll hear on any kind of sports talk radio show. And guess what? A lot of times it comes to fruition. Okay, I'll just throw this out here. One Chicago Bear quarterback. I'll just throw that out there. Okay,
listen, you got us on that one, Cuervo.
Yeah.
So he got us on that. He ended up being right. They traded it. He come to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And
right on that one, Cuervo. Hey, Cuervo, dead clock is right twice a day.
He wants to hear that he's right. That's all it is.
No. I believe it.
He just wants to hear that he's right.
And the simple fact of the matter is I think I'm just going to say it. And everybody else was saying it, not last year, but the year before, even the year before that. He's washed up, that being Aaron Rodgers. And the fact of the matter.
Not going to amount to jack squat.
And I'm worried about that for your Steelers. And I'm worried about from 1 week to the next, will Bryce be hanging off the side of a tall building, Cuervo? Aren't you worried about that? Cuervo, I'm worried about that happening because of Aaron Rodgers.
It's been about a good 20 minutes, and I've listened to all three of you just rant and rave.
Now I'm ready for you. Tell me that Sonny is right, so I can be.
Listen, the clip is loaded. It's full. Now it's my turn to unload. All right.
Yeah, unload it. Bring it.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
He can't help it.
He can't help himself.
He can't help it.
He just had to. Even though he has zero logic in what he's saying, he just had to do that. He had to throw that out there.
He can't help himself.
Where do I start? Okay, so one more thing I wanted to talk about with the Steelers, Bryce, because I talked about addition by subtraction. I think you guys had to trade George Pickens. It just wasn't going to work out. He's a much better fit in Dallas, and that's kind of a rib shot at the Podfathers Cowboys, because they like the drama and they like all the they love all the sideshow stuff that comes with having a guy like a George Pickens.
That's right.
So he's a much better fit with the Cowboys. So I think you guys made out on that one.
Blasphemy!
Stephen, ain't nobody asked about your opinion, all right?
Positive about that, right?
Go back to covering basketball, even though it's not even in season.
I agree. I agree with him.
All right. So where do I start? All right, Rodgers, Wilson, right? We're talking about all that stuff. I got a stat for you. I think Bryce is going to like this one, because I think what Sonny was alluding to was his stats are inflated, right? Rodgers is, and I can't believe I'm going to defend Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go puke later.
Oh my God! Here we go.
I'm actually going to defend
what?
But I'm doing it more for Bryce. It's not for Aaron Rodgers. It's more for Bryce, because I want him to stick around. I don't want him to leave the show. So this is my attempt to save you, Bryce, from returning during the season, okay?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I hope there's a chance. I hope there's a chance that Bryce stays with us. I don't want him to leave. He's our Steeler guy, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So by Sonny saying that Aaron Rodgers' numbers are inflated, which would also kind of say that the Jets were in a lot of garbage time. Would you guys agree with that? I think that's kind of what he was saying.
That's exactly
So what did Cuervo do while you guys were hooting and hollering? I went back and I looked at all the games, the final scores from all the games last year. There were only 4 games in which the Jets lost by 10 or more points last year. So in 4 games, he inflated his stats, is what Sonny Clark is trying to tell us here.
Okay.
And there was a 5th game where they lost exactly by 10 points. And I don't think that's not really garbage time.
Well, hold on. I agree. Maybe garbage time is right, but they're still playing. How many games did they play from behind outside of those games? And I'm telling you right now, I know there are a lot of them that they were playing from behind that they did end up.
But that's not garbage time. That's not really not where you inflate your numbers. It's okay. We need you to step up.
You're inflating Sonny's ego in the process. That's what we're doing. Okay.
So to me, I think that it doesn't. I don't agree with that. I don't think his numbers are inflated. I just think that's. I mean, Rodgers is still. He still plays at a certain level. It may not be the level that we're used to him seeing, and we're so used to Rodgers throwing for 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. That's what we're used to seeing. But the fact that he threw just under 4,000, 23 and 11, I think it was, 28 and 11, excuse me. That is considered the lower part of his standards. So, but for guys like a Russell Wilson who had only 16 and 5 last year, you would take that if you were a Steeler fan. If Russell Wilson would have thrown for 28 and 11 interceptions, he still might be a Steeler. He might. I don't know. But the fact that his numbers were so subpar due to whether it was, the injuries, but also just the fact that, like Bryce said, it was either a long game or it was short game. And to me, it was a lot more short game than it was long. So, they just needed to get a quarterback that they felt was going to be able to spread the ball out more and do things like throw in the middle of the field. Oh, here's the other part. Shedeur Sanders. Why didn't the Steelers draft him? That was a question that Sonny had. Because, as Aaron Rodgers is so famously known for doing, he held that Steelers team hostage to wait and see. Is he going to join? Is he not going to join? What is he going to do? Well, we got to watch Pat McAfee now. We got to find out if he's going to do it or not. Oh, hey, I'm going to go bury my head in sand for 3 days and think about what I'm going to do. Like, it was all the melodramatic bullshit that we had to wait for Aaron Rodgers to go through. And I know Mike Tomlin was just like, this mother effer, if he doesn't just make a decision right now, like,
absolutely,
I guarantee that's what it was. So that's the reason why I think they didn't draft Shedeur, and maybe he just wasn't a fit for who's your guys' Arthur Smith's offense. He may not have been a good fit for him. So there is that part too. You can't just plug any quarterback into any system, guys. It doesn't work that way. Like, you have to have the right guy to fit your offensive scheme. And for the Steelers, Will Howard somehow was a better fit than Shedeur Sanders, but that's why they got him in the 5th, 6th round. So that being said, that to me, that's where we're at when it comes to the Steelers. That's why they didn't draft Shedeur. He just wasn't a good fit. And on top of that, Mike Tomlin is a very big on character. And I just think, as much as he may be boys with prime, Shedeur's character, that's not something that Dion can control. He can't control that. So for him to be going into interviews and talking down to teams and whatever he was doing that turned everybody off, to where he went from 1st, maybe 2nd round to all the way down to the 5th round, Mike Tomlin was probably like, nah, to hell with this guy. I don't care who he is.
I question that a little bit, but that's another conversation.
Throw that out there. I mean, all right. So, do you think? I mean, I'm not sure. Okay, let me just throw this out. It's just what I'm thinking. The Steelers not taking. By the way, that having been said, would I rather start, if I was the Steelers? Would I rather start with Shedeur Sanders instead of Aaron Rodgers? I think, if anybody can turn this guy out better, it would be Mike Tomlin, to make Shedeur Sanders a superstar and turn him into that superstar out of all the quarter. I thought that's the reason why they should have went, because of all the bad talk and everything. If anybody can bring him down to earth, it would be Mike Tomlin. That's what I thought. And that's the reason why I think they should have won it. Do you think that Tomlin's going to bring Aaron Rodgers down from anything? No, I think it's going to be the same thing. Bryce?
I disagree. Here's why. Mike Tomlin has actually never developed a drafted rookie quarterback. That's one thing in his illustrious career he's never done. So we don't know if he'd be able to develop Shedeur Sanders. That's number one. Number two, Aaron Rodgers signed because of Mike Tomlin. He said, no, I signed here because I want to play for Mike Tomlin. So if anyone could convince Aaron or have a disagreement with Aaron or say, hey, Aaron, I don't like the way we're doing this, it's going to be Mike Tomlin. And Aaron's going to listen because of the respect he has for Mike Tomlin, and for what Mike Tomlin has accomplished and how Mike Tomlin treated him. So this matchup has a better chance of working because of that.
I'm just wondering, at least to me, and I'll throw this out to Podfather because I want to get his opinion. This whole draft and everything, and the idea of having Aaron Rodgers, I think the idea, Aaron Rodgers did not want Shedeur Sanders on that football team. That's what I'm thinking. And not because I think he was afraid. I'm saying it. I think Aaron Rodgers was afraid of having an up-and-comer coming up there and questioning whether or not Aaron Rodgers should be the starter on this football team. Not that he is, just more in the fact, the mental side of it. I don't know. Podfather, you think the mental side of it? I'm just throwing this out as an idea of what I think is happening here.
Just throwing it out there.
It's a reach.
I think this is a reach. First of all, when the draft occurred, Aaron Rodgers was not signed to any team.
I know. I
didn't
fully
matter.
agree, and I think he
Sonny,
held that. Don't
Sonny,
you draft
Sonny,
him? Don't you draft him?
Sonny, let me talk. Look, here's
If
the
I
thing.
can mute him, guys, I would.
All right, we're kind of loud, but look, here's the thing. When the draft occurred, Aaron Rodgers was not signed to any team. He had no say to any team who they should or should not draft, or where he should or should not play, because he had no idea where he was going to go. Oh, what?
That's true.
Wait, hold on. You think before the draft they didn't know they were going after Aaron Rodgers? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, I'm sure that was floated out there, but it was never a done deal. Okay? And have they gotten Stir Sanders? Maybe Aaron would have said, okay, you know what? You guys got your quarterback of the future. You don't need me. But that didn't happen. I mean, he fell so far down the draft, down to the 5th round, nobody wanted to take a shot at him.
I agree.
That's why.
Took him after they drafted another quarterback in the 4th round. Tells you how far he had fallen. So when Aaron Rodgers comes in, look, this is my question: who's playing at a higher level right now, Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson? Bryce, you're better to answer that one. Who plays at a higher level?
You know, based on last year, even though he had the injury, I would say probably in terms of making the throws, Aaron Rodgers.
So, getting Aaron Rodgers onto your team after what Russell Wilson did or did not do last year, is that an upgrade?
Yeah, because of Russell's inability to just be able to figure out throwing over the middle of the football field. Yes.
Right. So that's why I see him doing well with the Steelers, because wasn't Big Ben drafted by Tomlin, or was he drafted by Cowher?
He was drafted by Cowher, and Cowher was the coach.
Okay, so he while he may not have been the one to draft Big Ben was established under Tomlin, though, right?
Well, Tomlin gets there in 2007. Ben gets there in 2004, so we got 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, and he already had a ring too.
He had a ring. So Tomlin had a franchise quarterback to work with, but obviously there's further development that has to happen.
Right. So he has no problem developing a quarterback. Now, could he develop Stir Sanders, who has already got a lot of people in his head already with his dad and Michael Irvin and everybody else who's telling him how great he's going to be? I mean, you can't coach that out of somebody, especially when he's had everything handed to him since he's been in some point. So I understand why they didn't draft him.
I don't. But that's just me. I have zero clue. I have zero clue.
Them drafting a quarterback this year doesn't affect the quarterback situation for this year or next year, especially for next year. Aaron Rodgers doesn't affect their strategy for next year. They're drafting a quarterback next year. So you can still draft Shador if you wanted to. He'd be on the team, and you're going to draft one next year. They drafted Will Howard. They're taking a quarterback next year.
But by the way, let me ask you a question, Bryce. I mean, I don't even
How
know who
high is
Howard
gonna
is.
be-
Is this guy worth? I mean, I don't know who he is. Okay, they draft this guy. Is he worth a nickel or not? I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Will Howard?
Yeah, where did he come from?
Okay, you know what? I know why. Look,
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of college football, so
it's
the snap.
It's because he's a Wolverines fan, guys. That's why. He's gonna act like he don't know. Ask Obie who that is. I'll just say that. Ask Obie who he is.
I'm sorry, I have zero clue who he is. Why would I? He's a Buckeye. And when was the last time a Buckeye quarterback was worth a shit in the NFL? Oh, that's right. Not too many times. Count it on less than one hand.
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, that's the only one. Stroud.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, even a blind dog will find a bone every once in a while. He's coming out of Ohio State.
Yeah, and remember, Sonny, that was my concern with when the Bears got Fields. I was like, Ohio State quarterbacks. And this was before Stroud, so
you do that, and let's go to USC and let's get a quarterback from there too. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. It's just that, and again,
okay,
I don't.
Now you're going too far, sir. Now you're going too far.
Yeah, I don't like Shadir Sanders. I hate him with all passions. I hate the man, but the player. Listen. No, I got the reasons, and I think I'm right. So people want to look over ego and all that stuff. I won't. I refuse to do that. That is how you develop a man. Now, if he can turn it around, I'll say, hey, he did a great job of turning around and becoming an NFL quarterback in this league. But he's an egomaniac, and I'd bitch slap him if he was in front of me if I could run fast enough to get away from him. Okay,
I got a question on that, Podfather.
Okay.
I don't mean to cut you off. You know I don't like cutting you off. Sonny doesn't care. No, I don't like cutting you off. So here's a question. So we all know, we see it right here, live, in person. Sonny is very big on ego. I think we all knew this already, right? And he talks about guys that have egos, but if they can. Let me ask you something, son. What is your honest opinion? What is your honest opinion from the day he got drafted to right now? Baker Mayfield, go.
I'm ready to hear this. Oh, yeah. What do you? Go ahead, Sonny. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the question. Say it again. And I'm not queuing up a laughter. I just didn't hear. I'm sorry.
From the day that he got drafted until now, how has your opinion on this quarterback changed? And the name is Baker Mayfield. Go.
Well, I always loved Baker. So
but he's got an ego, Sonny, when he came out of college.
Hold on. Ego in college.
Right? Wasn't that the big thing about him? He had an ego.
Of course it was.
He was all dancing around.
Go back to your dial-up internet, okay?
Yeah.
And with his dial-up thoughts.
Everyone else has an ego, but boy, I love the Baker Mayfield. One of the biggest egos to come into the league the last 10 years.
He had a huge ego.
I heard about it. But guess what?
Planting the flag at Ohio State.
This is what I'll say. And I completely agree with where you're going. But Baker Mayfield was the only quarterback out of how many that actually took that football team to the playoffs. He proved it on the field. You can say whatever you want about how great his numbers were. He was a part of a team that ran and got that team into a playoffs more so than whatever it is. And not only that,
he hasn't proved it on the field, taking 1 of 11 teams, bringing them into the national spotlight with the way that he played. But yet you don't pass up talking about his ego, but yet Baker Mayfield, because you want a playoff game, get to just be an egomaniac and you're okay with it?
I listen, I sometimes have a default problem with these kind of things because listen,
because the quarterback's white.
How many quarterbacks have the Browns had that could not get them to the playoffs?
That doesn't count. That does not count. Tim Couch and all those guys do not count.
Yeah, no. Listen, he proved it on the field. He did it on the shittiest team in the NFL, okay? At the bottom of the barrel, he's the only one that could get him into the playoffs. Okay?
So, ego was horrible. The other guys, they can do no wrong. They can do no wrong.
No, I'm saying the Browns made a huge mistake. And you guys, if you want to say, we talked about it all day long. The Browns made a huge mistake by letting that guy go.
In hindsight, at the moment, it was the great decision because he was the reason that they wouldn't be able to move forward. He was not playing well. That's a great question.
Absolutely not, Bryce. No, Bryce. Remember the division they play in, okay? What division do they play in? The AFC North. The toughest, and at that time, the toughest division in the NFL. Okay, and he got them to the playoffs? Come on. You got to look at that. And I think
we were with the loaded, talented roster. We were lauding how great of a teammate Odell Beckham was acting because he was not going crazy because Baker Mayfield was playing bad and couldn't get him the football. Go ask, you know what? We need to bring Obie back on. He'll agree with me 100%. Baker Mayfield was not making the plays. He was hurt up. He was steadily declining, and that's why they went to get a guy at the time that was better than him, Deshaun Watson.
Oh, see, and that played out really well for him in reality. So
It did.
yeah,
It blew up in their face. On the field, he was better than Baker Mayfield.
and let
First
me
of
just
all,
throw this. Go ahead.
First of all, every player in the NFL has to have an ego. I'm sorry. You have to have that kind of drive to play professional football. So, I mean, you can be humble and you can be, and be well adjusted, but you got to have the ego when you're on that field. You can't sit there and go, well, golly, I'm so happy to be here in the NFL these days. I'm so happy to be here. I mean,
Cuervo.
Okay. I think no, the Podfather's right. You do have to have something. Every player should have something, but I don't think it's ego. I think there's a difference between having an ego and having like a confidence swagger to yourself.
Well,
as a player.
Well,
I think that's what you need to have.
Well, it was the thing was a couple of years ago when Andy Dalton went around saying I can start any one of these 32 teams,
and
that's
it was
ego.
stupid.
That's something.
It was.
Time out, Sonny. I'll say. I get it. It doesn't make sense, right? But he's trying to get a job. He has to sell himself. And that's one thing these players have to sell themselves. Remember, whatever egotistical thing or swagger thing that they're doing out there on the field, they're trying to sell jerseys. They're trying to sell their brand to the team that they are currently on. That's in wrestling. Thank you. Well, Bryce is agreeing on me upstairs. So
Podfather is spot on because you know why he's right? Because Sonny and sometimes I'll even call him sometimes Obie. You all want to have there he is, right. It's funny Obie would say that because Sonny, here comes you and Obie love to yell at the cloud. You guys like to lean into this ego thing until it's one of your guys. Then when it's one of your guys, they love it. They're competitors. They won. They earned it. But no one else has earned the right to have an ego, according to you two. Just to your guys. Okay, your guys are allowed to have an ego, like Baker Mayfield. But
I hate it. You're right.
Oh no, I hate them. They need to be more humble. So you pick and choose when ego matters and when it doesn't.
No, you might be correct in that portion of it, but what I'm telling you right now, and this is different from what I heard from Baker Mayfield. And again, Cuervo, I might be listening to the wrong outlets or everything else, but what I am hearing regarding, I hate Shadir Sanders, I hate his ego, but everything. Now, it started off a little rough, I'll give you that, but as of late, I am hearing good things. Now, off the field stuff is there, but I'm trying to look at the player and who he can possibly be based upon who's on that football team. Who's better? Is Joe Flacco better? Is the guy that they drafted before him better than Shadir Sanders? Listen, Kenny Pickett? No. If anybody's better, it's Joe Flacco. That being said, because Shadir Sanders is at least the same as Pickett and or the guy that they drafted. So that's just the difference in what that can end up happening going forward. Me personally,
all of this goes out the window. All this goes out the window once
put him in.
Time out. All this goes out the window once Shadir Sanders goes to Jacksonville to play with Travis Hunter.
Here we go.
That's what's going to happen. So we can see Sonny's head explode. That's what's going to happen. No,
listen. You might want to have to worry about me jumping off. You might have to worry about me jumping off the side of a building if that.
If it means a Super Bowl for your team, you'll do it.
Shadir Sanders, outside of the speeding ticket, has no off the field issue. Okay, he's not getting in trouble. Certain people may not like the way he comports himself or talks, but like we said, and Podfather said it, a lot of these guys have a big ego. And okay, here's Obie's point about Baker. He may have been playing hurt. He was hurting the team. In 2019, he was missing receivers. 2021, he was playing hurt. He got into the playoffs. He was considered the reason why they couldn't take it to the next level and get to the AFC Championship game.
Well,
he didn't make the throws.
Listen, at that point, Bryce, I think I hear what you're saying, But what I think the difference is between Baker Mayfield and that is that the team did rally behind him. You say whatever you want. The team rallied behind Baker Mayfield to help that. Again, now, did they win all those games because he was playing out of his 9? No, it was a team thing. But someone had to get him, be behind him and trust him and feel what they are, what they're doing is right. And again, he wasn't blowing them out of the water. But again, he was the only quarterback that had been able to do it. I can't remember the last time the Browns have been into the playoffs in reality before that ended up happening. Bernie Kosar? Yeah. So how many years? So there, and how many quarterbacks that couldn't get the job done?
Again, you can't throw the how many quarterbacks with the Browns because they already have like a roster full of quarterbacks.
That's what I'm talking about. And he's the only one that ever did it. Now, that also being said, because I got to make sure I get this in, let me.
Duval.
My guy.
Here's just one more thing I'll say about Shadir Sanders. I think there's only 2 coaches that could have done it, and it was Mike Tomlin and the team that he ended up. Stefanski is a great head coach. I wish he had the stones to stand up to his friend, his team and the front office. I wish he had the stones to say, I'm not playing this guy. I'm the head coach of this football team. I wish he had the stones to do it.
He didn't.
Well, I don't care about that. You don't care because
it's not your job.
Exactly. I'm not worried about the millionaire Kevin Stefanski paying his electric bill next month. You're right. I'm not worried about that. I don't care because guess what? Stefanski would have been on another football team in 2 weeks after the firing happened. So I'm just telling you what I see. And Stefanski is going there without Shadir Sanders, and he might be one that might be able to help Shadir Sanders
I got
there.
one for you. Sonny, whose potential NFC North? Whose potential do you believe in more, Caleb Williams or Shadir Sanders?
Well, I will go Caleb Williams because of coaching. I think they got the better coaching up there. I'm not saying that he's the best one out there. I'm saying that
he hates Deion so much.
It is
hates
the
Deion
Browns,
so
for
much.
God's sake. The Browns know how to step on their jock at any moment. Okay, so do something totally different that you've been doing because of the insanity of the last 35 years of that football team. You might as well give the guy a shot. You're not going to do any worse.
As much as people love Deion Sanders, there is a large contingency of people that love to see him humbled. And I think a lot of that spilled over to his son. That's my thing. I think a lot of people say, we're not going to allow Deion to come in here.
The bad thing about that is, Deion's dealing with cancer right now. He's humbled more than anything else in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, you get away from the football thing. Life is humbling more than anything else, but I mean, he's still plugging and going.
Yeah.
He coached through it too last year.
And it has been reported that a lot of those GMs, a lot of those executives took exception to Deion talking about my son's going to go where we want him to go and all of that kind of like boisterous Deion talk. The same thing that people love him for is the same thing that they knock him. And that played into, I think, a lot of people saying we don't want to have to deal with Deion.
Legendary.
That has nothing to do with his son.
Yeah, but and I agree.
But just because he's got confidence and ego, he went to a 1-11 team, got them relevant, and then won 9 games next year in college with the team that was going nowhere. So they got egos, like Podfather said, and that's
it's just something. Here's one thing that I hate to admit, and I'll just throw it out there. Can't stand Deion Sanders anyway. But guess what? Who was the best at that position that he played ever? I don't think you can argue it was Sanders. Now, granted, there was a lot of ego whip on it, and yes, it's rubbed off on the kid. But guess what? If that ego and that is enough to make him a superstar, or how about just make Cleveland respectful? You got to look at that and go, holy cow, that's pretty good. Yes, and I hate he's egoed.
I don't think ego's the right word. I think Cuervo said it best. He had swagger, and the team picked up on that swagger. Cowboys did it when they had him. So I mean, when he went to the Redskins for a little bit, they had it. You know, granted the team was bad, but I mean they went and got Bruce Smith and Deion Sanders and guys like that were trying to build a super team, and the swagger he had was good enough, but unfortunately the coaching was bad. So you know,
I've been wrong about ego players in the past, and I'll eat the crow on it all day long, and I'm hoping I can eat the crow on this one because out of the whole thing, if Shadur Sanders can just get down to reality of who he really is, which is a rookie quarterback in the NFL, and he can swallow a little crow, which I think he can with
that's only
Stefanski
for 1
or
year though. That's
Tomlin.
only for 1 year. You're talking about a career. That's only for 1 year. He's a rookie.
That's what I'm saying.
1 year.
If one of those coaches can turn that around and get him down to reality, it'll be a great coaching job, and then we can say Shadur Sanders, he listened to his coaches and he became which is a superstar. And again, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, or the other guy they drafted who isn't worth a shit, by the way. You know, say whatever you want about him. Shadur Sanders can only go up. Everybody, he's on the Browns for God's sake, and everybody knows how bad they are. So if he can make them respectful, he just makes it different. And again, I hate it, but I think he can actually do it.
Third place. That's why I got him.
That's where I got him. I got him in third place, but I actually got, I just think the Aaron Rodgers move was the wrong one. I think he used his power as far as who he is with the Steelers. And I think there's a lot more of the story that we are not hearing about what that situation was. And we'll hear it in about 4 or 5 years, what a big pain in the ass that Aaron Rodgers was in developing a new contract. Now, I'll give him credit. He signed a contract that was, I didn't expect him. What was $16 million? That's it. Congratulations to the Steelers for getting him for that cheap. But I'm just because they got him for that cheap doesn't mean that it was the right decision. That's just a personal opinion.
Just real quickly, since we're playing what ifs here with the whole what if so-and-so drafted someone and so on the draft. Bryce?
Yes?
What if Aaron Rodgers went to the Bears? How out of shape would Cuervo be over that?
Oh, my Lord.
Well, ask Cuervo. He's right there. Cuervo, how would you feel about Aaron Rodgers on the Chicago Bears? What a great question, Podfather. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
I'd be forced to like and cheer for him, which makes me want to puke. Because at the end of the day, this is who I like. It's not about
this stinks. This is total BS.
It's not about the guys' names on the back of the jersey. It's about this right here because
it's all about the laundry.
It's all about the city. That's my hometown. So I'm gonna whoever's on the team, even though
I told you so. I told you so.
Guys, I enjoyed this. I gotta go to work. Peace out, y'all. Bryce, good seeing you. Don't be a stranger.
All right, Podfather.
Podfather out. Always good to see the Podfather. He just cracks me up. So
yeah,
I don't know. This division of football, I think, is going to be. We've always talked about it for the last 6 years, right? Which is the best division in football? It's the AFC North. I think this year there's a chance that you can just throw a monkey wrench in the whole damn thing and get a total different, like Steelers in last and Cleveland in third. But we still got on top. You gotta beat the Ravens. And listen, again, I think Lamar Jackson is gonna. I think Lamar Jackson's gonna push them up there, and they're going to be right there at the AFC Championship game. I think somewhere, leading up to that, they'll be there. Whether they'll get there, they'll be all about injuries and everything else. But really quick, Bryce. Okay, I don't know if you know it or if you even care. Okay, but I saw let me get this up here. The Steelers went ahead and this guy right here. Does this matter? I mean, and the reason why I ask, because I specifically remember you talking last year about this guy. And I don't remember it being positive. So how are you feeling about the Patterson thing? I mean, he was a crowd favorite, but was he worth a nickel?
No, I was fine with it, and I got to actually head on out too, Sonny. But I was fine. They took a shot, thinking he might be able to return kicks. It didn't go well, so they let him go. Hey,
So no big loss.
No big loss.
Gotcha.
He's had
I just wanted to know.
He's carved out a great career for himself as a returner, but it just didn't work out. And last thing I'll say about our ego conversation. One of the greatest teams of all time, Cuervo's 85 Bears, had some big egos on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the head coach that has endured himself to a lot of people being a raging person with a big ego. It was Mike's way or the highway. that was it. And you had Steve McMichael, and you had Jim McMahon, was known with the glasses and his ego, the Super Bowl shuffle. You had big personalities and big egos, yet these guys are beloved. So my thing is, James Obie and Sonny Clark pick and choose who they want their ego people to be.
Well, you got to also remember when they won the Super Bowl 40 years ago, I was a lot younger back in that day. You're talking I was only about 25 years old, and I was actually impressionable on that kind of stuff, and I loved that. But as I got older and I'm less tolerant to a lot of bullshit,
And now he yells at the clouds.
Get off of my lawn. Get off of my lawn.
Listen to these guys that he loves. Then he loves it. Then it's swagger. But
Well, Walter, listen, but throw that on the other side. Walter Payton had my respect. That guy played football. That guy played football with class. That guy, you didn't see him spiking the football. You seen him handing the football to the referee. You seen him not acting a fool out on the football field.
Like Baker has.
But again, guys, how many years? Okay, so I think he actually had a right to do it. I mean, just more than the fact. I do. I mean, he proved it when no one else had done it. And
we are off and running in this season. It's going to be a year full of sunny nonsense. It never failed.
Yeah.
Next week, the NFC and AFC West. Are you going to make it? Or will you be able to make it on, Bryce? Or are you going to be busy?
No, I should be able to come on.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I should be. Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of get an eye. And Cuervo, where are you next week? You here ready?
I'm right here with you guys.
Right, very good. All right, very good. I know we're losing Bryce. Very good to see you. I'm glad we got you on. And by the way, this was so much fun. I'm telling you right now, this is so much fun. And I want you, and I gotta even admit, the Podfather makes this even more fun. But how many years now? This is 7th year with you, Bryce?
7 years since I first called into the blog talk. I heard these guys talking sports, and I'm like, who are these zany people? Let's call in.
Yeah, and look at what I did. I brought him in, baby, and he's staying right in the boat. I appreciate that.
Listen, I want Aaron Rodgers at peak form when November 23rd comes around.
I hope. But yeah, I'm looking. Yes,
Steelers in Chicago. Cuervo. I'm not saying I am, but you could be getting a call that I'm coming to Chicago for that game.
Oh man,
that would be amazing. I can't say for sure, but we'll see.
Gotcha, Bryce. Always good to see you. Thanks for joining us here. He's got to get out of here. And Cuervo, you got to bail out too. Are you? Your time?
I do. Well, looking. I mean, I know it's only game 1, but we got a little Chicago Bears football on TV right now.
Hey, yeah. You know what? That being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Last week, I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch it, but I had week number 1 all set and ready to go for your Chicago Bears. The thing that they're going to play with the helicopters, and I put that up there on the show. I unfortunately got rid of it. So, but next week, talking AFC and NFC, what do you? Hey, here he is. I mean, look at this guy coming off an injury. This was a couple weeks ago with McCaffrey being 100% going into it, Cuervo. I don't know what you think about it, but whoa, why didn't that turn it off? There we go. Yeah, so I turned that off. McCaffrey looking like the superstar that he is, in training camp. So yeah, I don't know. obviously for the 49ers, this is a good get. You hoped you could get this guy back to where he was because of all the losses on that football team that the 49ers did end up happening. So this is probably the best thing that could happen to the 49ers going into the season. You agree? Having McCaffrey back at 100% based upon what we're seeing so far?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you're still talking about top 3 running back in the NFL.
Yep.
Any team would benefit from having him in the backfield. So, for the Niners, they're no exception.
Definitely. It's going to be a good talk next week. AFC and NFC West, good talk. Still trying to get a hold. Now, if we change that, I'll let you know. I'm trying to get and Tom might, by the way, guys that don't know, Tom McManus has been so busy. He's doing his show. He's doing a show on the podcast. Then he's doing 2 more shows at the radio station. He's becoming very busy. It's hard to grab him up. And I'm going to try to get him on live. If not, I might only be able to get him by an interview if I can get that. It's not because he doesn't want to; he just doesn't have a lot of time. So, hopefully, we'll be able to get him in there. I want to know about the Jaguars and where they'll end up. And I got mad respect for that guy over there, that guy right there. Saying his Bears are going to end up last in the division. Then that's a tough one. But I unfortunately have to agree with you. So. Any parting shots before you're out of here, Cuervo?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to next week talking over on my side of the country where I live now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for the Bears, I mean, look, I want to believe that they're going to win 9, 10, 11 games. I just need to see it. I need to see what it's going to look like on the field. And, I can't even look at today and say, oh, yeah, okay, this is what we should expect. Like, that ain't going to come till next week.
Yeah. Well, who they got next week?
Buffalo.
Oh, and that's when the starters and so you'll watch really the first quarter and a half of that game, see how that ends up going. You might have an idea where your Bears stand. So good stuff.
So back in the day when there were 4 preseason games, it was always that third one, right? That was kind of like where the starters would play the most. Well, now for teams, it's the second game. So
yep.
Next week is when we're going to see a lot more time with starting players around the league to get a better gauge of where teams are as far as how they're operating. So
good stuff. All right, my man. Always a pleasure. By the time we're done with this season, it'll be 17 years on the show, and you've been here for 15 and a half of those, 16 years really in reality. Holy cow, we've been riding the storm out, as REO Speedwagon would say. So that being said, that'll do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Cuervo, always a pleasure to have you on. Can't wait until next week. It'll be the AFC and NFC West here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And guess what? It's going to keep going and chugging until we decide to say, we're done. And who knows? Maybe Cuervo will keep it going after I go. But I'm not going anywhere for a long time. That'll do it for us, everybody. Take care. Have a great week. Next week, I'm ready for it. We're out of here. Bye-bye.